Yeah. Woke up to the bell. I don't need no 9 to 5. Got charts on my mind. I just hold and ride. Yeah. Flip that red to green. I'm addicted to the screen. Grew up broke. Now my candles looking clean. Broke a calling like you play too wild, but I'm trendline loyal. That's my lifestyle. I see the dip. I don't panic. I reload. Margin call whispering. Boy, you bold. I don't chase hype. I manifest gold. Portfolio drip when my story's told. Give me that breakout volumes right. Options hit my weeks on site. Every candle's a vibe tonight. We just hold and ride. Hold and ride. We don't fold. We slide. Charts look alive when the bulls collide. From the lows to the highs. We just hold and ride. Hold and ride. Can't kill my vibe. Profit take it slow. While the gains multiply. Let it roll. Don't hide. We just hold and ride. Bag check. Yeah, I'm risking for the glory. Stop loss tight. That's the moral of the story. Cash flow king. No crown, no throne. But I built my empire on a metronome. Limit order set. I ain't stressing trends. Learn more from drawdowns than I did from wins. This ain't luck. This discipline. Got charts in my veins and greed in my grin. I lost some. I gained some. But I never stop showing up when the pain come. Cause every red day still feels right when I hold and ride. Hold and ride. We don't fold. We slide. Charts look alive when the bulls collide. From the lows to the highs. We just hold and ride. Hold and ride. Can't kill my vibe. Profit taking slow while the gains multiply. Let it roll. Don't hide. We just hold and ride.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where today's a beautiful Tuesday, November the 18th, and we're all asking the same question of, is the market about to shit the bed? And if I definitively knew the answer to that, I would tell you guys. And not only would I tell you, I'd be betting my entire net worth on it, and I'd be able to make a lot of money. But we don't know that. All we could do is try to put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out what in the world is going on. And unfortunately, the major puzzle pieces aren't really going to be given to us until tomorrow. So like yesterday, today is another weird holding pattern where everyone's like, this isn't looking so good. But once again, we really don't have the hardcore evidence or, like I said, the puzzle pieces quite yet. It all really starts tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, market open, VIX expiration. Afternoon, we get the FOMC meeting minutes, and then after the market closes, we get NVIDIA's earnings. Question for all of you before I forget, because my producer yelled at me yesterday because he told me to do this and I forgot to do it, even though I said I would do it. Do you guys, instead of the update video tomorrow, Wednesday, NVIDIA's earnings, would you rather just stream the NVIDIA earnings, like conference call and the market reaction? Would you guys prefer that tomorrow? This is not a rhetorical question. I either need a thumbs up, a thumbs down. I either need a 1 or a 2. I need a yes or a no. I need a C or a no. I need either your right hand or your left hand. I need you guys to respond to this one. Would you rather the update video tomorrow, or would you rather a live stream of NVIDIA's earnings? So where are you guys at? Stream, please. No. Thumbs up. Just dip a rag into your power steering reservoir and give her a scrub. I feel like that doesn't quite answer the question that I had. No, need more, Matt. Indeed. Yes, 1 or a 2. All right, all you, no, 1, go live. Yes, I didn't study. Yes. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Someone raised their right hand. Thank you. So that's tomorrow. which puts us once again in this like really awkward hold pattern. And most awkward hold patterns are exactly that, awkward. But this one's a little bit more tense because all of a sudden, if you look at the daily chart of the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and especially Bitcoin, we're starting to see lower highs. We're starting to see lower lows. We're starting to get price in the world of the 50 EMA, which we know a lot of institutional traders, retail traders, and bot systems are going to react to. Generically bullish above, bearish below. So we have weak price structure, very questionable price momentum, even on the 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour. So we're at the point of asking the question from mid-May up until now, that was a strong bullish rally. It was a strong trend to the upside. The bulls dominated May, June, July, August, September, October. And now all of a sudden, are we going into month 7 or is it going to be 6.5? What's going on? But all of a sudden, the overall trend that we've had is legitimately coming into question. And yesterday, we were at all the key levels, and it was uniquely bad yesterday because Amazon had this weird bond sale thing. And on top of that, it was mainly those Fed members who were doing some public speeches, and they had some pretty hawkish commentary, like surprisingly hawkish commentary. So that's what happened yesterday. It was a bit of a vol spasm. Stability in the options market is low, so we're getting very large ranges. I myself in my brain had also a spasm. If you didn't watch the update video, more on that in a second. But we're in a very precarious situation. That's our SAT word of the day, precarious. It's just a word, I guess, is its definition. It's a word we should all know, but it means what the fuck is going on? And this is really, really questionable, especially because right now I have some calls on Avago, but that's a whole different story that we're probably not going to get into today. Regardless, questionable. Right now, giant question mark. And as I already alluded to, we're at the point of the week where we're like, okay, let's try to survive the day so we can get into tomorrow where we start to get some of those answers. So the name of the game today is to be breaking it all down to give you guys the actual data of what to be looking for. Unfortunately, in terms of news and whatnot, I don't know if you guys already saw it, but there's a Cloudflare outage today. So things such as ChatGPT, X, Locals, it's all down. So there's a lot of websites. I mean, half the websites I was using this morning were just legitimately down. So at a certain point, maybe they come back online today, but Cloudflare, which is from a technical standpoint, a foundational piece for a lot of websites in existence right now, currently having outage issues. So I don't know. I got onto Twitter for like 5 seconds this morning and then everything got stuck. I can't get on the Locals at all. Some of my streaming software at one point today was down. It seems to be back up right now. So there is like a weird global internet outage going on. So who knows where that's going to lead us for the day. But beyond that, we have some spicy drama stories related to Trump and the Epstein files and Marjorie Taylor Greene. So they're going to be hearing that today. Excuse me. I guess I didn't take my allergy pill today, which I don't believe in allergy pills anymore. I believe in a state of mind. But anyway, we have some spicy political drama to discuss. We have some overall market stuff to get into. And really, I want to save a little bit of time, not only, I guess, explaining the story of how your boy's brain broke yesterday when trading, but really to prep you guys up for today. So I hope that sounds good. Folks, I hope you had a great day yesterday. I hope you had a far better day than I did. I hope you made a bunch of money. And if not, I hope you make all the right decisions today and make a bunch of money today. So with all that being said, let me switch this up so you guys can see what incarnation is going on. S&P 500 futures drop for a fourth day as tech shares slump. Bitcoin breaks below 90,000. Really quick shot right now. We're pretty much at the low from yesterday on SPY, QQQ. VIX is rising from 19.5 all the way up to almost 24. And Bitcoin is back above 90. It went below it for a second, but currently sitting at 91,000. So like I said, depending on what you're looking at, the daily chart, Bitcoin is looking uniquely bad. These are the lower highs, lower lows. We're sweeping some of the recent structural lows that we saw here in the 90s. If this keeps going, I think we could be seeing 84,000. With respect to the overall market, the S&P 500 did close below the 50 MA. That is not good. Looking at the NASDAQ, NDX also closed below the 50 MA. Is this definitively guaranteeing a sell-off? No, but like I said, we are on tilt. We are in that precarious situation. We are on a cliff's edge. And the question is are we going to bounce from all the announcements tomorrow, all the developments tomorrow, or are we about to crater? Now, remember, no one on this planet can definitively tell you what's going to happen, especially in the short term. No one can properly predict the binary events of how the market reacts to VIX expiration, how the market reacts to the FOMC minutes, how the market reacts to NVIDIA's earnings, and then past that, don't forget that normal OPEX is this Friday. So we have a lot of coin flip events, and depending on how the dust settles with those, that's going to decide either the bounce off this level or the breakdown. All I can tell you, and anyone who knows anything about the market, all they can definitively tell you is we are just at a key area. So as we start to either trend to the upside from here or trend to the downside, that is the trade, ideally with minimal risk. But the idea of trying to predict the trade and not just react to what the actual price action is, that's where I think people are going to fall short. So overall, yes, we are in a very questionable spot. And then obviously, not just stocks, crypto plunge adds to angst as markets extend broad retreat. We've been covering that James Wynn story for quite a bit. Around 100 and 106,000 in Bitcoin. He ended up taking a 40x leverage short with millions of dollars. He did it right around here, Sunday to Monday. And ever since then, he had a little bit of smoke Tuesday morning. And ever since then, he's just been riding it down and down and down. Like I said, he is making a lot of money. Now, I should let you know, I see some comments already. So people joining in. Cloudflare down. Company blames unusual spike in traffic before outage errors. So Cloudflare, for many, I guess, websites is really just the technical foundation. And when it goes out, you're going to have problems. So Cloudflare is the inherent support for many websites that we use. So I don't even know. I got Twitter to work for a second. It doesn't even look like it is anymore. Yeah, that's still oh, maybe it's back. I did see that when I go to locals, that was down. That's still down. So Cloudflare is having some issues. So it seems like things are coming in and out. Hopefully that does get resolved rather quickly because this is just a pain in the butt. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. As I already kind of mentioned, there's going to be a lot of political drama today. Trump's grip on Republicans show first sign of slipping. GOP support for releasing Epstein files is the latest pushback against president from his own party. Am I the only crazy person that finds this really weird? Going into the weekend, before Trump was the butt of all memes on the internet, he very much did not want these Epstein files released. And then because the internet completely dogpiled him, he 100% reversed his opinion and said, yeah, you know what? I don't care anymore. Release the files. Does no one else find that weird? Am I the only one sipping the crazy Kool-Aid this morning that within seemingly a 24 to 48 hour period, he went from one side of do not release these. He was calling Marjorie Taylor Greene. He was calling Boebert. He was calling all the people he could, especially in the House, to not get this passed. And then all of a sudden, because like I said, the internet completely destroyed him, he's like, actually, maybe you should release them. Like, am I the crazy people? Like, I don't know. I guess what I'm really curious about here is if you happen to be a hardcore Trump supporter, if you happen to really identify as MAGA, not just Republican, not just conservative, I'm talking about like you are a MAGA loyalist, what is the processing in your brain of this flip? Like, obviously, you're going to ardently support him. So in your own mind, you don't find it weird that on one side, you're like, nope, don't release him. That's not appropriate. And then because he just gets destroyed by the internet, then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Release it. Like, how are you processing that flipping back and forth so dramatically? Like, we're not just talking about a little bit of a change in opinion. We are talking about like actually the polar opposite. Like, he went from one extreme to the other, and seemingly the only thing that changed was not the release of the Epstein emails, or at least a chunk of them, but how the internet reacted. He gets bad info, Matt. But see, once again, like, why are you just assuming the best? Why are you assuming that like, hey, that's it, and like he can do no wrong? Like, why aren't we just treating this more like the Socratic method of like, hey, we just measure the data, we have the data, here's the most reasonable thing? Like, doesn't that feel like it's a little bit of a reach? Trump wants to move on from it. Trump realizes it's the only way to do it. Well, he wants to move on because clearly he's listed in the emails. He's named in the emails. And I should clarify on this point because I know maybe some of the right-leaning Trump-supporting people are going to get spun up and like think that I'm accusing him of doing something nefarious. I read over the emails. There doesn't seem to be like this clear like smoking gun evidence of him doing something he shouldn't have done. I understand that. But he clearly was also named. It wasn't like his name is non-existent in these emails. Like, both of these could be true. He could be listed in the emails, and there could also be no evidence of him doing something he shouldn't have been doing. I want to be very, very clear with that. He's playing them. That's interesting. I always find it interesting, whether it's the person you voted for or just generically in life, but that type of just unwavering support for no reason, I find that surprising, because it doesn't seem like you're being led by actual facts and data. It just feels like you made an opinion however long ago, and now you're just digging your heels into it, and it feels like no piece of information that could ever be shown to you or proven to you would ever switch your opinion. And maybe that is fine in life. Like, I don't think that's a good way to live, but I think that's also opinionated. But what I would say is make sure you are not doing that in the market. What I'm trying to draw parallels to is the way people on the political side of their life dig their heels in, and no matter what happens at any point in time, they will never change their opinion, even in the face of completely contradictory information. I don't think that's a good way to live, but once again, that's opinionated. All I'm saying is do not behave this way that you guys kind of are right now, all the way over into the market. Like, you got to draw the line somewhere and understand that if you behave in that manner when trading, when investing, it is there. That's the perfect recipe for blowing out and losing money. So I just want to clarify, like, I don't think, I know on one side, on the financial side, it's going to lose you a lot of money. On the political side, it just tells me that you don't have the psychosocial development of a human taking in new information and properly, you're just a sheep. Like, it's just a sheep following type of thing, and whatever. I don't like it, but if that's what floats your goat, hey, that's what floats your goat. But what I am saying is, if you are in one side, and I don't even know if you're on that, and like you could even self-identify, because you probably come up with all this reasoning of like, no, I'm being fair, and like I'm taking in data, and this is what it says, and this is the news, and it's all a fucking hoax. I don't know. But if there's even a sliver of a chance that you're in that camp of saying, all right, please just don't let it bleed into the world of actual trading and actual investing. Sounds like you're describing a liberal. Liberals do it too. I'm saying it's anyone that is too hardcore into the world of politics and unwilling to change their opinion based on new information. And I would say the extreme left and the extreme right, and probably the medium left and the medium right, also always do that. So like it just is what it is. And I guess I really don't necessarily care. It's like no sweat off my back if you do this in politics. But since we're here to really talk about active trading and investing, if you show that same type of behavior in the world of trading and investing, you're probably going to get absolutely destroyed. But anyway, if Twitter ever gets functioning again today, which it seems like it might be up now, please understand that they are voting on this today. How Marjorie Taylor Greene alienated Trump, leading MAGA lawmaker crosses president on Epstein and economy, leading the public to a public breakup. So at one point in time, she was a MAGA darling. I mean, she did everything in her power to support Trump, and it was very, very evident. And all the people who supported Trump supported her. But she took a slightly different path with this whole Epstein file thing. So now it seems like there is a giant fracturing. And in a general sense, there seems to be, for whatever, multiple reasons, a fracturing of this MAGA party. So we'll see if it's a temporary thing. Maybe it is just news and rhetoric and people get spun up. Totally possible. Or maybe this is a legitimate change. And I think we're going to get a little bit better of an inkling today, seeing how some of this vote goes, seeing how Trump does or doesn't react. But there is allegedly going to be a big vote on that today. So from the political arena, expect drama. Obviously, pay attention to that. Speaking of the government and the government reopening, we are now finally getting some data. And you can see at 3 this morning, 3 a.m., we ended up getting the initial jobs claims. It was, I don't know if it was appropriate or a mistake, inappropriate, but initial jobless claims for a missing week got posted at 3 a.m. this morning. And you could see that it was not that far off. It was technically a slight miss. But you're going to notice that the only other thing really going on today is more speeches from the FOMC voting members. I do want to remind you that tomorrow is the big day. VIX expires in the morning. FOMC meeting minutes comes out at 14 o'clock, aka 2 p.m. East Coast tomorrow's time. And then right after the market closes, we're going to have NVIDIA's earnings, where right now, the last time I checked, the implied move from earnings is from 6 to 7%. Thursday, we're going to be getting more jobs and inflation data. And Friday, we're getting manufacturing data. And throughout this whole time, remember Friday's OPEX, but throughout the whole time, you're also going to have a lot more Fed members talking. I would say that the weight of the entire stock market is currently on NVIDIA's back. Once again, reporting after the market closes tomorrow. Home Depot did report today, didn't do the best. Lowe's is reporting tomorrow morning. I'm assuming it's going to go the same way as Home Depot. Target, TJX also reporting. Palo Alto Network, this is one of Nancy Pelosi's main plays, so I just wanted to call that out. And then fast forwarding to Thursday, you have Walmart and Webull, so just want to put those on your radar. But right here in the top column, right under Wednesday, NVIDIA is what is probably going to have a massive influence on the overall situation right here. Do we bounce off the 50 MA or do we break? As of this moment, we do have a downsloping trend line. Not looking so good. It is a lower high for sure. At this point, we kind of have roughly equal lows. You could see the low from Friday, November the 7th to recently, and that's exactly why I have this marked out 6631. A push and close below 6631 is not good. A push and close below 6,600, very much the bears are in control. But the question is if it happens today, does it mean much? Because all of a sudden, if we get to Wednesday and it like all those events come out bullish, well, we could have a gigantic gap up. That's totally possible. On the flip side, they could all be bearish and we could not only crack 6,600, but we might be talking about sub 6,500. I'm here to tell you that right now, as we obviously see vol increasing, VIX is already up to almost 24. The opportunity for large moves is very evident. It is very clear. You could see it that there's low stability in the market. There's positive gamma above. There's negative gamma below. We're right at this key level of 6640. If that cracks, we might be looking at some of these larger nodes of 6575. We might be looking at 6550. We might be looking at 6525 and 6,500. These are all large negative gamma influence, but positive nodes within this negative gamma region. So whether we have a big drop or a big pop today, or it ends up netting out to not be much of anything, I would argue that intraday expect large ranges. So whether it's the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, I think we're going to see big pumps to the upside and downside. Now, are they going to be sustained? Maybe. It could be a huge trending day, but overall, even on like the shortest of time periods, especially for those of you maybe trading Apex or something like that, I'm expecting a lot to be going down. In the meantime, ARM custom chips get a boost with NVIDIA partnership. All right, maybe good. And I do want to remind you that Foxconn, which is a supplier to NVIDIA, they reported last week and they did beat on earnings. Home Depot cuts earnings outlook as home improvements demand falls short of expectations. So I would expect that to also be negatively impacting Lowe's, and they are reporting tomorrow morning. But I'm not by any means saying that is the end-all, be-all thing that we all need to be paying attention to, because once again, I think it's VIX expiration. I think it's FOMC meeting minutes. I think it's NVIDIA's earnings. And then remember, Friday, on top of all the other macroeconomic events, is OPEX itself. So please remember that. Now, bringing you guys back to the overall picture, as you've already seen for a gazillion times, not only on my show, but probably charting it out yourself, we are below the 50 EMA. Obviously, it'd be a big win to take out 6754 for the bulls, and it'd be a big win for the bears to take out 6631, which is kind of where we're at. So we are already opening up in a very dangerous zone, 6637 right here. This breakdown is 6631. So we're basically opening up at support. Maybe that's good. Maybe we open up at support, and the fact that we have so many binary events tomorrow, maybe the bulls step in and they just send it off of this and we get to recover above 6,700. On the flip side, maybe just the market as a whole is feeling pretty freaking bearish and we crack 6631, setting up 6,600, setting up 6,550. Folks, it's going to be a 50-50 shot of which way this breaks. But remember, with 50-50 opportunities, you can still be net profitable by taking low risk, high reward opportunities. If half the time you're losing $1, but the other half of the time you're winning $5, that is great because you're going to be net ahead. So think about it that way. Don't try to predict the breakdown or breakout try to react to whatever trend is evident and being like kind of shoved into your face. So if you haven't already, here are my levels. We were talking a little about it in Discord. My transitional zone is 6,670 to 6,700. Bullish above, choppy within, bearish below. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white horizontal line. As of right now, we are pretty much opening up at the low from yesterday. So this is going to be our first level to watch. Not only is it a key gamma level from the options market, but it's a key structural level as well. Once again, that is roughly where we are opening up. Actually, we're going to have a slight gap down at market open. Anyway, here, this is the key level. If the bulls want to put up a little bit of a fight, look for that push to the upside or to the bottom side of the transitional zone. That's what we saw yesterday right out of the gate, a little bit of a push. And then obviously you're going to see that test of the red to green movement. If the bulls are still strong, watch 6,680. From there, watch 6,700. On the flip side, if the bears are dominant right at open and we're not getting that upside gap fill and we start to fall, look for the first support at 6,600, followed by 6,575, followed by 6,550. So that is my bull case. That is my bear case. I'm trying to do my best to not be married to one side or the other. I just want to be playing what the market is giving me. So don't try to predict. Remember to react. I know that is different rhetoric. If you watch any other influencer, which is the lamest term ever, but if you watch any other person putting out content and streaming and this and that, they seemingly try to pitch you that there's this like unknown model that helps you predict the market. They are full of shit. No one's ever made money really doing that. If you want to predict, there is a space for that, but that's in the world of investing. You need more time. When you're in smaller time periods, there's no prediction. It is statistically really no different from noise, which is why we're just trying to find a little bit of an edge to give ourselves a little bit more than a 50% chance. Maybe we identify these key levels. Maybe we just trade with trend to maybe increase our chances from 50% to 60%. But once again, there's never going to be an end all be all, which is why really the game of trading just comes back to the world of risk to reward management. I will say that every single stream, but once again, that's exactly how you're going to make money. Understand any single time you place on a trade, there's roughly a 50% chance that you are not going to be right. You have to accept that and you have to keep your losses small. And then when you're right, you just need that to run and run and run and stay in that winning trade as long as you possibly can. So even with that, remember, I'm not preaching at you. I'm really reminding myself because all of that I just said to you, I broke those rules myself yesterday. I'll even show it to you right here. Check this out. I don't know how well you guys can or can't see this. Maybe I can make it a little bit better. But my accounts, I mean, this doesn't look as dramatic. So maybe I could show you actually what happened right here. I had a giant loss yesterday. All of my accounts, I posted this on Twitter. I know Twitter's down, so you can't fact check me like now, but later when Twitter's up, when Cloudflare figures out their issue, you're going to notice that all my accounts took a $3.2 thousand loss. So I had a net loss of $49,000. I know the number is small, but this is 49,000, 1117. That was my realized loss. It's even worse than that. As you can see, at one point, my accounts were down $260,000, actually $273,000, $272,000. That was my max realized gain at one point in the trading session. My accounts all individually, I started out with 70K yesterday. They all were down 17,000. My accounts started at 70, and they came all the way down to 53. And everything I've been pitching you, it's because I broke every single rule. So if you want to know the rules I broke and why I spiraled and why I tilted, that's what the update video is yesterday. So feel free to check that out. But I'm showing you this well, obviously I'm not bragging because I lost a lot of money, but it's just, I want to be transparent. I find that a lot of people in this industry, they're always lying, they're always hiding, they're not being forthcoming. So whether I have nice successes, like basically how it was all the way up until that day of just the account growing and growing and growing. And as you can see, I topped out at $320,000. Yeah, this looks like a small hit, but I want to be very explicitly clear that I was like one decision away, like one small decision away from losing all those accounts. So I understand that this doesn't look that bad, but folks, I was like as tilted as you can be. There was one final thread holding my tether to reality. And fortunately, it held strong. So basically, I'm going to be putting myself in a little bit of a timeout today just to see, like, I just think I need to calm down. I'm trying to not spiral. This was my first net losing day right here, net profit. You can see I only have one losing day ever since I started trading these, and it was hefty. Most of my winning days are around, I don't know, 16, 30,000, something like that. Looks like my biggest day is 37, and I had 2 of those. But you can see I just got destroyed. And why did I get destroyed? I just didn't follow the basics. I lit a loser run and I kept adding to a loser time and time again. And the loser got worse and worse and worse. And I'm telling you, especially when it comes to the world of Apex and trading and all that stuff, if you are on the wrong side of the trend, you're going to get destroyed. Do everything you can in your power to identify the trend. See if you can take advantage of that trend with a low risk, high reward opportunity. If you're scaling in, scaling out, move your stop to break even and just ride the trend. You don't know how big the trend is going to be. You don't know how small the trend is going to be, which is why you want to let the trend go, because you don't know if it's big or small. And that's also from a risk perspective. That's why you want to put your stops in that break even relatively early. My issue, I mean, like I said, I explained it better yesterday, was this pump midday when we started to go green, going into the lunchtime arrow. I thought we were going to have a trend switch. When it started to break down around 12:30, I was unwilling to admit I was wrong. I kept on all my bullish positions, even though we were starting to come back into the cloud. We were cracking VWAP. I added to it on this little bounce. I thought I was good, added more, and just got completely destroyed. And then it wasn't around until 2 that I was like, oh, wow, the trend is down and I should trade with the trend. Started trading with the trend. And then that's how I went from a loss of 17,000 to only a loss of 3. Well, technically, I did ride this pump a little bit back up into close, but you get the point. Fighting the trend is going to be the death of you. That's what it's going to be. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, so we had a little bit of a downside gap fill right at market open, but both were already hit. So we opened up below the low value from yesterday, and you can see 10 seconds into the day, the SPY and the Qs popped, getting that upside gap fill. If you played that, congrats to you. Bitcoin's in the bottom right of the screen, actually holding pretty decently at 91. And then I want to throw up a Vago. I want to watch what's going on with a Vago today. Oh, anyway, on this blowout, I just want to show you all my accounts. I still have all the accounts. Obviously, they just took a 3K hit. I did finally pass all the 5 take profits. So these are now pro accounts. I was trading the evals. I was just waiting for the amount of days to pass so I can actually upgrade them. I think you have to trade 5 or 6 days. So anyway, these all pass now. And then I have 5 Apex accounts because obviously the new ones did not have enough buffer yesterday. But I waited till today because right now Apex, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Apex is currently running the best deal I've ever seen them run, and I believe it's for Black Friday. But right here, by the time you run the math out, $40 lifetime PA fee, and then when it's 80% off, that means for a 50K account, which 80% off means $35. So for you to go from nothing to a funded account, $35 eval, $40 lifetime, $75 total all in, I'm pretty sure this is the best deal they've ever run. Does anyone know of a time they've run a better deal? $75 all in. I don't think that they've ever run a deal that's better than that. The other ones I've seen is like when it's 90% off, that's $17, but the upgrade was 80. So then you're in for 100, technically 98. But right now, by the time you put those two numbers together, 35 and 40, I'm pretty sure this is the best deal. And obviously, if you want to take advantage of it, it's going to be running for a week. I'll remind you about it every single day just because I'm pretty sure this is their best deal ever. 80% off with that code Goonie, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And obviously, I got myself a fresh 5 right there. And I still have my 15 as of now living PA accounts, but we're going to see how this is going. And as I already expected, we are getting some crazy ranges today. We went from 758 all the way down to 665. So in a matter of 2 minutes, we dropped 100 points. And then 2 minutes later, we've now bounced 100 points. Volatility is crazy, folks. This vol is absolutely nuts. These ranges are I mean, there have been trading days, 2 to 3 weeks ago, where this range right here, 664 to 4,800, that's what, we didn't even see that in an entire day. We dumped 100 points and just bounced 150 points. And that all happened in the dump, and the bounce happened in 2 minutes. Like, folks, that is crazy. So please be prepared for some crazy ranges. Please, I beg of you, this is a time to size down. This is a time to really respect your risk. This is a time where you just have to manage the things properly, because look, dump, pump, 100 down, 150 up, and climbing. This drop right here, we went from 664, we're almost up 200 points. Almost up 200 points, and that's from 932. It took 1 minute to go from 664 to 831. That's 160 points? That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts, folks. So please understand that you can size it down, and I'm sizing down today because I'm putting myself in the doghouse because of how horribly I traded yesterday. So I was going to do that anyway, but even if I wasn't in the doghouse, this is a good time to arguably just be a little bit more mindful of your risk to reward management. This is crazy. These ranges are nuts. Absolutely nuts. Cloudflare started working right at market open. Where's my tinfoil hat? All right, let's see. Are we getting all of Twitter? Is locals back up? So I'm seeing it's down on some. Maybe on smaller websites it is down, but maybe on newer ones it is up. Maybe. I just want to make sure. Oh, why can I not turn this on? Oh, it's because I'm disconnected. All right, I almost didn't have on my Orbo trade. The trade that has not missed ever since mid-October is, where's my FFN account? It's trying to connect. It might have Cloudflare issues. Honestly, I don't mind this short right here. The breakdown of 43, I would have already been knocked out. But if we start to crack this 36 and your risk is just 63, it's a wide one today just because we're moving so much so quickly. But that breakdown trade right there, well, technically didn't enter. Okay, you would now be in short at 36, risking 63. By the time it hits 20, move your stop to break even, freebie play. That's how I would have played this. Like I said, the short is, you would be short at 36 and your risk would be 63. By the time you hit 20, stop to break even. That's how, and right, it almost hit it. I think maybe it was off by a tick. It was, all right, there it hit it. So now your stop would be break even. So it's a freebie play. If this vomits, we pumped above the EMA, it all started to get crushed. That trade right there, we came back up into the cloud. Well, the cloud was all bullish. We came down, we went into it, right now you'd be out for break even. But once again, it's a freebie play. If you want to take another stab at it, if it fails at 16, you could do the exact same thing. So at that point, it was a freebie play. You didn't have to risk anything. Well, you did risk something at first, but then you just got knocked out for break even, which is fine. That's going to be a game of trading. But I need to get, did that not connect yet? Shit. It's still having an issue. All right, I'm trying to get on the FFN so I could do the Orbo trade. That account isn't showing up quite yet. Obviously, I haven't traded anything. Oh, did it pop up? Am I blind? I heard it. Right. Okay, there it is. All right, let me turn on. Okay, so the Orbo strategy is on if this is one of your first days or if you need a quick refresher of what the Orbo strategy is. It's just the 10-minute Orbo, the first 10 minutes of the day from 9:30 to 9:40. I look at the high, I look at the low, and then this bot that I made, it either buys the breakout or shorts the breakdown, but it doesn't do it on every single one. It only does it if it's with trend. So if we're trending up and it does the breakout, it'll take the trade. If the Orbo is a breakdown, but we're also trending down in a larger time frame, it'll then take that trade. So it's not taking every single Orbo. It's only taking the Orbo if it's with trend. The Orbo trade itself, if you just took every single one and you didn't look at trend, you would win a lot, but you would still be a net loser after many, many trades just because the bad beats would basically stack up. But if you end up doing it with trend, so the Orbo but with trend, that's actually a net profitable trade. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. It's this account here that's currently up $3,000. This account has basically not missed since about mid to late October. So it's just running every single day. And basically it just goes for about $200 every day. Sometimes there's about $5 of slippage or commission or something like that. But that is basically where we are at. Hang on one quick second. What is this? All right, sweet. I have a buddy who is about to become a father, so he's texting me updates, and I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm stoked for them, and they're in the middle of all that hecticness. Oh, wow. Crypto is getting a nice recovery. VIX is at 2350. Let's see. So this might be a higher low here. Obviously, the 5-minute is pushing bullish. The 10-minute is pushing bullish. The 30-minute is still bearish, and the 4-hour is still clearly bearish. But this is where I got tricked out yesterday. Was I was like saying, oh, okay, we're pushing. So I thought trend was going to change, and it tried to change, and it just didn't have enough follow through, and I just got destroyed. 5-minute right here, it's trying to push. 10-minute, it's trying to push, but just not follow through. And that's really where I got messed up yesterday. Was I could probably show you better on this. Right in market open, I was like, oh, we're bearish, but look we're pushing. We're going to put in a fight. Smack, double bottom low. Oh, we're pushing again. And it was on the second attempt that I was just unwilling to like really think it could fall. And where I should have gotten out was this breakdown. So we pump. The breakout fails. I should have switched short right here at 25,123. Instead, I just kept adding to my long position, adding right here. This little bounce at 140 gave me confidence. I added more. And as you can see, I just got destroyed. And I finally cut it here and switched short roughly in that zone, but I ended up doing a lot of trading. But like I said, your life is going to be far, far easier, especially if you're trading on Apex, Take Profit Trader, Funded Futures. If you're doing day trading, scalp trading, if you can train yourself to only take it with the overall bias. And how can you do an overall bias? It's easy. You can look at RSI if you like RSI back. You could use MACD. You can use Bollinger Bands. You could use EMAs. You could use SMAs. Just whatever you feel most comfortable with as in defining trend, just use that and only trade in that direction. I am not saying that there is one perfect end-all be-all way to be trading with trend, but I am letting you know that find whatever makes the most sense for you in your brain of what trend is and only trade in that direction. And I swear, if you challenge yourself to do that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, at the end of that month, you're going to be like, wow, my trading results were so much better. And not only are they going to be better, but you're probably going to take less trades, and you're also going to be probably a lot less stressed out about those trades that you took. I like it. I'm a fan of it. And that's part of the reason why, unless I like horribly fuck things up like I did recently, of why I was able to run these accounts up $300,000. Granted, they're only up 270 now because I got up to 320, lost 50K yesterday. So in a month, not even a month, in about 3 weeks of trading, I'm still up over $250,000. But it all works when I trade with trend, and then it very much doesn't work when I'm not trading with trend. So I don't know. I'm waiting for this. Maybe I could take advantage of the 10-minute Orbo myself because that strategy has been working well. I'm watching this little pump back up into the cloud, seeing if this is going to hold or not. We did just make a flush low here. You could see we did spike right below it. We're pumping back up into the cloud. The 1 minute is very indecisive. The AMAs are sideways choppy. The larger time frame, we're getting rejected at VWAP. You could see VWAP was right up here. This might be a VWAP rejection. We try to get above it multiple times, and it is just not panning out. And we do have lower highs and lower lows. So I would be, maybe they want to test 700, but it's kind of choppy. I honestly, I probably should have taken this trade right here, this breakdown at 52. Risking 64, risking 12 points. At this point, I'd move the stop to break even, and I would have a runner, and then I would target 700. So I'd already be up $1,000 a day. Today, I'd probably be done on all these accounts. Probably should have taken that trade because it is lower highs. It is equal lows. Well, technically a flush low. We pop up into the EMA. You had well-defined risk, and you had a clear target. And if you have a runner, you would keep riding it. So that was a trade that was pretty quality. And let's review why that was, rather than me just telling you like, hey, it worked. I mean, obviously I was talking about it before it actually played out this way, but let's review. Let's like dive into like actually what I was seeing. Well, the 5 minute try to pop, still bearish. 10 minute try to pop, still bearish. 30 minutes bearish, 4 hours bearish. 5 minute try to pop, still bearish. 10 minute try to pop, still bearish. 30 minute, 4 hour, still bearish. So momentum is bearish. Looking at the options flow, let's load these bad boys up. Mag 7 pushing to the downside. S&P 500 was getting a bit of a pop, but now going flat. So I would say this is neutral, this is bearish. So one is bearish, one is neutral. And then obviously we know stability is pretty low. We're kind of awkwardly testing between positive and negative gamma. And then in the short term, you're just playing the lower highs, lower lows, and you were able to take advantage of that risk. And right there, it was way too quick. Right there, it just popped 205. That trade got in, and it was right here. It took that Orbo trade, locked in within a second. Like I said, it makes about $200 per day. Dunzo. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. I mean, literally, it made its profit within one 500 tick bar. I think it took about 4 seconds, another $200. This strategy has not missed since about mid-October. It's up about 3K, and I'm just doing $200 a day. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. I'm not manually trading it. Like I said, I created the bot that trades it itself, and that's about it. Easy peasies. I am watching this though. All right, that's not looking the best. I am watching this bounce. So this is our first attempted reversion. I guess that was somewhat acceptable to short at 72. A little bit larger risk. That was 40 points of risk. That's $400. So if you took that breakdown there, you waited for the pump into the cloud, it starts to break down, risk is there. I don't mind it. You are trading with trend. This is just a luck of the draw. If we start to sweep 55.50, I'd move my stop to break even, which it seems like maybe we're about to do. I'm kind of looking for a larger bounce back up into 700 that fails for me to maybe get in this day trade. And the only reason I'm leaning bearish right now is because, as we've already illustrated, right now everything is pointing down. Obviously, at a random point today, that stuff can switch. But yeah, at this point, if you took that breakdown at 72.50, stop is now moved to break even, and you have a freebie play. Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't go, but the point is you're not risking anything. The one thing that really saved my accounts yesterday is I went from being completely undisciplined and letting my losers run. And in the afternoon, the way I was able to make it back was basically by being insanely disciplined about my risk. So in the afternoon, when I lost 17K, the question of how did I make back 14K, whatever I was doing with my trades at any point, whatever I was doing, I, as quickly as I humanly could, move my stop to break even. And when you do that, you're going to have a lot of stop outs. That's a part of the game. It happens. But I only needed a couple here and there that actually were never retested, and I just let those run. So for the first part of the afternoon, I was doing that to the south side, and the second part, I was doing it to the north side. And yeah, there's a lot of stop outs when you trade that way. But if it's a stop out at break even, who cares? There's no pattern day trading when it comes to the world of futures. So as long as you can layer in these quote unquote riskless trades, even if half of them go bust for break even, if the other half you're actually catching the trend, well, it adds up quickly, very, very quickly. Even here, I don't mind shorting this failure, but the risk is just kind of large. If you're shorting it right here, I mean, it's a great short. You could probably already move your stop to break even. This was an interesting short around 710, but that's a 30-point risk. That's $600 per account. So it's most likely going to work and pay for you. But I'm personally looking for an opportunity where maybe I could just get in with a smaller risk, more controlled risk. Maybe if this fails. But even that 82 up that's 40 points. That was actually a larger risk. 30 points. It was the same risk. Sorry, poor math. Any thoughts on bull overall? Price seems low. I just because price is low or high, that doesn't mean it's expensive or cheap. It might be low for a good reason. I don't really know much about it. I'm kind of waiting for its earnings to see what's going on, but I haven't really been tracking it fundamentally or anything like that. But I do want to remind you, just because price is low doesn't mean that it is cheap. That is not not how you should be thinking about this one. Damn, that was a nice short. Like I said, that worked. We talked about the short right here around 710. We talked about the short right here at 82. I wasn't willing to take on the risk, but remember, sometimes this is a game of 50-50. If you're trading with trend, I'd like to say it's a game of 60-40, but that worked out beautifully. You could have put your stop there on a little bit of a push. Damn, you could have even been shorted 64, risking 81. I'm really trying to not only drill into your minds, but remind myself of a lot of the times you're not going to be in control. You don't know when you're going to get this random pump. You don't know when you're going to get the random dump. You don't know the next bar, but what you do know is where your risk is at. And even before you get into the trade, you get to be in control of where your risk level is. And you get to be in control of how you want to update it when the market actually starts to move. That's what you're in control of. And that's what I seemingly forgot in the morning yesterday, and then seemingly was able to get my life right later on. How cheap would you consider Bitcoin is? I don't get that question. How cheap would I consider, like at what level would I buy it? I'd buy it at just important support, and ideally if the support aligns with technical levels. But I'm really not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to do anything right now before we have all those events tomorrow. If you're making big sweeping decisions on your account today, especially in swing positions, when all the events are tomorrow, I think it's a tactical misstep. Of course, if you do it, I mean, I wish you luck and I hope you make money. But it's far easier to make those decisions when you have not just the announcements, whatever, VIX expiration, the FOMC meeting minutes, but also on top of that, you have NVIDIA's results. But more important than having those results is you finally see how the market's going to react to it. So I think today is not the day to be making those decisions. I just don't think it is.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Freebie play. Freebie play, folks. Stop to break even. I waited for the pump. I waited for the breakdown. I put on the trade. Moving the stop, guaranteeing some money. Fuck. Moving the stop again.
Order filled.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Bad slippage. One account made 1,000. All these other ones made 850. Bada bing, bada boom. Do you see the concept that I pitched to you? Like, I was explaining the trade exactly I was looking for before it happened. I told you, identify the overall trend. We looked at price structure, we looked at price momentum, we looked at options flow, and we're looking at current sentiment. Great. From there, we have a bias. At the point of having a bias, wait for an opportunity to minimize your risk. Do you want to chase it to the downside? No, because your risk is whatever that recent high is. So you wait for a short-term reversal. I got in there. You saw I risked the recent high. The second it pushed a little in my favor, I put the stop to break even, kept going, hit what was supposed to be a 50-point target, which is why this one made 1,000, but because of slippage, you can see this one got in at 5.9, but due to slippage, these ones got in at 5.2. There was literally a 7-point slippage, but right there, one decent trade. All I had to do, it is 9:51. I was patient for it. I waited for it. I didn't do anything crazy, and then across 20 accounts, I made 800, and then added another 5, so 25. So 25 accounts, $800. Just like that. Made about $17,000, and that took me about 30 seconds. And that you could be done. Like a sane person would now be done. Like you'd just be like, all right, cool, I'm moving on. This is the same trade setup right there. This breakdown, 23. You are risking 43. Right here on this push, move your stop to break even. It's already now another freebie play. The same setup just happened again. We pumped up, we dumped, we pumped up, you shorted it again. Risk is there, goes a little in your favor. Make it a freebie play. Don't get married to it. Maybe this is the sink and this one, it looks like it is, or maybe it bounces back. But the point is you took on no risk. And if you wanted to, you could just keep layering it. You could have kept that short, kept your stop at break even on this pump, added another one, move that one stop to break even, and you just get a bunch of these free plays. And that's exactly how I got myself out of most of the hole from yesterday. And as of today, I'm already kind of digging myself out of the hole a little bit again. So it's working out. But folks, that's all it is. And the reason I'm not letting this one ride is just because the Apex accounts and the new take profits, and like they just have the trailing shit going on. So I can't let it bounce all the way back after being up a lot of money, because it eats into your unrealized drawdown. But once you have enough buffer in your accounts, that's when you can start to do some of the other stuff and be a little bit more creative with your positional management, if that makes sense. We are cracking some important levels, folks. That is not good. We are cracking some important levels. Here is the 5 minute. Looks like we're attempting to test 6,600. Looks like we are attempting to test 6,600. We'll see how that bad mamma jamma plays out. I wouldn't mind a little bit of a bounce before that happens. Mag 7 getting hit all day. S&P 500, weird. Big pop, and then turned at 950 and got hit. Like really, really jagged in the movement here. Calls look super strange. Puts look super strange. I don't know. That's wild. But what is nice about today is we're getting so much movement. We're getting so much volatility. This is a perfect day to pass Apex tests if you want to do the DGen 50-50. Because remember, on the 50K accounts, all you need to do is you can max out and trade 10 contracts. And if you're trading 10 contracts, all you need from there is a 16-point move. Well, if you took this breakdown at 87, you would need it down to 71, and we just hit that. Like, we're moving 16 points relatively easy. So this is honestly a perfect day to pass Apex accounts. And right now they're 80% off, which means they're only $35 for the test. And then the upgrade fee when you pass is $40, which means all in, this is the most affordable deal that they have ever offered. So if you're an Apex user and you want more accounts, this is the time to load up. If you haven't used Apex and you're waiting for a good deal to start it, this Black Friday offering for the next week, this is it. As a person who's used Apex now for, I guess, a year and a half, I have not seen a more affordable offer. Apex is down. I kept reloading this morning and it worked for me. The accounts I bought was this morning. So I guess wait for Cloudflare to come back. This isn't an Apex issue. It looks like it's Cloudflare. So keep retrying the website, but I was able to get through today at one point. So just, it's probably a Cloudflare issue if I had to guess. There's another 10 points to the downside here at 6,600. Oh, we're cracking. We're cracking. Wow. That's brutal. Brutal. We took out the opening range low right here. That was a good target, 603. I didn't intentionally plan on it, but that's actually where I got out. I think I got out at 609. So I was pretty much getting out at this like the overnight extended hours trading low that we hit around 2 in the morning. I got out around 609. It looks like the breakdown was around 602, and we're already flushing a 50 points below that. Below that. Wow. Getting hurt. Bitcoin popped up to 92.2, down to 91.4. I'm really curious if we're going to get a bounce here. This is what I'm watching. I'd be very careful chasing it at this level. Just because if you're chasing it now, your reasonable risk is 19, which is 12 points away, but there's only 9 points until the next support. So your risk reward chasing it right now is a little bit wonky. If you did want to do it, you should probably wait for the test and the high likelihood of an initial bounce. And then if the bounce starts to fail, that's probably what you would want to look for, just to arbitrarily chase it to the downside. If you're doing that, you're maximizing your risk, because your risk should be some sort of recent, either it's a measured ATR risk or some sort of like technically important level, like a recent high. But if you're just chasing it, and it's most likely going to work, but just because things work a lot of the time doesn't mean it's a net profitable system. A lot of people confuse, especially in the retail space, a lot of people confuse high accuracy with profitable. That is not true. And I get why. Maybe it's just because the U.S. education system is dog shit and we aren't ever really properly taught math. And not many people go on to take advanced math in college, but this really isn't an advanced concept. But unfortunately, in the retail sphere, there's a lot of people trying to chase high accuracy systems. And I'm not saying that's inherently bad, but just you can make a system that's right 95% of the time and it's still a net loser. You can make a system that is right 99% of the time and is still a net loser. And I think a lot of people, I think once you explain it, it makes sense to them, but just because it's never really articulated out loud, they don't consider that fact that just because you're right a lot doesn't mean you're net profitable. Just because you're wrong a lot doesn't mean you're a net loser. There's famously this hedge fund, I believe in either South America, South Africa. It's in South Africa. That is it has a hit rate of 20 to 25%, but when they're right, it's a 10x return. So they're still very much net profitable, even though they're only right 1 in 4 trades. Does Apex ever discount the monthly fee? That's literally what I'm explaining to you. It's 80% off. Just right there, 80% off. First month on all evaluations. I mean, if you're going more than a month to pass this test, you're not doing it right. If you're worried about this, you're just not doing it right. You shouldn't be wasting that much time. Like you should pass and then take it slow and easy in the performance account, which has a lifetime fee. You should never be at the point where you're taking more than a month to either decide to pass the test or not. It's just like you're burning too much time. Followed by 50%. Yeah, I mean, I've never even come close. I don't think I've had an eval account for more than a week. And even that, most of the time, if I have it, it's in a day. You are like, just from a math, financial, time efficiency standpoint, if you are taking more than a month to either pass or fail the test, you are going. You're just not playing it right. You're just not playing it right. I mean, the $110 performance fee. What are you talking? $40 fee. Where are you getting 110? Lance, are we talking about the same firm? Are we talking about the same fucking thing? It costs you $35 to buy the eval for a 50K account, and it costs you $40 to upgrade it. You're $75 all in. I have no idea where you're getting the 110 from. I have truly no clue where you are getting this $110 value from. And for everyone else who's living in the same reality as me, it's $75 all in. And I don't know of a better time than, like, I don't know of a deal they've ever announced that is better than this deal. Most of the really good deals, it's just below 100 when they do the 90% off. But at that point, it was the $80 upgrade fee. So you were in for 98. Now you're in for 75. So I believe they're just trying to, the space is becoming more competitive, and it's basically really good for all of us because it's a race to the bottom of how cheaply they can offer these accounts and still be profitable running a net, like a net margin. So it's a huge advantage for us. Like, I don't think they would be offering these types of deals if other competitive firms weren't also offering somewhat similar deals. I use Public for options trading because it's the only one that offers you a rebate. It is the only one that offers you a rebate. Did we actually touch it? No, we did not officially touch. This was a great trade right here. This breakdown trade at 37, your risk was 57. At this point, you move your stop to break even. You target 500, and then you have a runner. Boom, it already played out in real time. I feel like I'm pitching the same thing to you over and over again, but my reason in doing this is it's what I have found it's one of the best ways to approach this active trading, especially in volatile environments. And like, I'm just going to drill home the point that it happens to all be about risk management. That's what it is. Fuck Avago. Avago, add alert. I might have to get out of Avago. I'm just waiting to see if this bounces off of 6.6. We're at this key level. Let's wait. We are snapping some of these recent lows. We're in a pretty treacherous area, if I do say so myself. but let's see how this plays out. I want to see, generally when you test areas like this, it's not a clean break on the first time. I would be expecting some sort of a bounce. Fuck, Avago. All right, I'm cutting that. If you guys are in the Goonie trading Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, live to fight another day. All right, I updated that over there. I'm trying to be, after yesterday of seeing how quickly my life devolved and I felt like a fucking lunatic trading, I'm taking it obviously a day at a time, but I'm really doing my best to just like, hey, if risk is hit, risk is hit. Like just move on with your life. That is what I am attempting to do. But anyway, sorry, we were in the middle of a conversation. I guess, I want to do my best. If I don't know the answer, I could try to get you the answer. But are there any specific questions on Apex Trader Funding or the deal for? Oh, I should let you know, do not use the reset if you are using a 50K account. It will be cheaper to not use the reset and just to buy a new one. However, if you're using a 150, 250, 300, something like that, then it is cheaper to use the reset. So do not use the reset methodology of resetting a blown account for the 50K accounts, because it's cheaper just to use the deal, the 70% off or the 80% off, with the code Goonie. In fact, it's half as cheap. Instead of spending $70, you'll spend $35. So I wanted to remind you of that. Obviously, 80% off, use that code Goonie. From there, if you pass the test, which today should be very easy to pass the test, the upgrade fee is only $40. For the 50K account, which is my favorite account size. I know some of you like the 150s. That's my second favorite account size. Those are the only two I would consider using by the time you look at all the ratios and that type of stuff. But once again, I like the 50K account the best. My second favorite is a 150K account. And right now for the 50K, my favorite account, $40, $35, you're all in for $75, and you can take advantage of that with that code Goonie. Obviously, it's a Black Friday deal. Do you think the negativity on NVIDIA is going to drop the price even if the results are good? No. If they are good, if they beat expectations, remember, it's not good or bad in a vacuum. It's good or bad relative to what was expected. If they beat expectations, if they beat top and bottom line and they improve their forward-looking guidance, that's a beat relative to expectations. So it's not in a vacuum. It's relative to expectations. If they exceed expectations, yeah, I'm looking for the bounce to the upside. If they don't, I would expect this whole situation to actually get worse. What strategy are you using on Trade Copier when entering the trade? I don't want to enter a trade then manually have to enter a stop market. Takes too much time. Well, those aren't connected. Your Trade Copier just copies the trade to other accounts. While how I quickly have in my stop, I'm just using an ATM right here, ATM strategy. I just have one of those already set up, and you could set one up yourself. That's just a part of Ninja. So I have a profit and a stop already there, and then I just adjust it and move it as I need to. Wow. What a fucking dump. I got out of mine all the way up here at 600, as in I left 170 points in that runner. And I don't think I was ever tested. I don't think it would have ever hit the break even. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. I'm wondering if this bounce at 500 is going to hold or not. This is the bounce that I was telling you about, where I'd be really, really surprised. It can happen, but I'd be really surprised if we just broke 600 cleanly on the first one. So I want to see if this retest, basically, I want to know if the retest holds above 6,600 and buyers actually step in, or are we just putting in a lower high and we kind of fall from here and go down to 6,575. So I'm looking for this test, and then ideally from there, we get a little bit more of an idea of how strong this is or isn't. We get a little bit more of an idea. It's decent bounce thus far. Let's check our other. Let's do our sanity checks, folks. Here's the 1 minute. which is still, the cloud is very evidently down. So the 1 minute's back bouncing in the cloud, but because there's so much trading today, the 500 tick is already looking decent. VWAP is all the way up here at 24712. The 5,000 tick is looking pretty bearish. The 10 minute, here's our initial balance thus far. Technically, the initial balance isn't over. We did break the trend to the downside, but this is just the extremes of the day thus far. I shouldn't call it the initial bounce. That's technically not right because we're not an hour into the day. But regardless, if you look at the intraday high and low of regular trading hours, the 50% bounce point is all the way up here at 630, which is totally possible. Totally possible. 10 minute is getting murked. 1 minute is getting murked. Folks, if you are active trading, I'm talking about if you want to be a day trader, scalp trader, which I should also let you know is probably the most difficult form of trading to be successful in, but it also has the highest upside if we're being fair about that. But anyway, if you're trying to do this, there's two major things you could do as a day trader, scalp trader, especially in the future space, to increase your odds of success. It's not a guarantee, but this is going to dramatically increase it. If you trade with trend, if you go from mean reverting to trend following, it's going to be easier. Can you come up with a strategy that is net profitable as mean reverting trader? Yeah, but most likely you have to have a little bit of knowledge of coding and statistics and data analytics. So is it impossible? No, but the average person doesn't have that skill set. You could obviously develop the skill set, but I'm just letting you know, especially if you're newer in your career as a trader, your life is going to be easier starting off as a trend following trader. So if you're trading with trend, that's the first major thing you can do to make your life easier. The second thing you could do is, whether you are absurdly confident, not confident, this, that, the other thing, is most likely size down. One of the biggest things, especially if you're trading with trend and maybe you go from 50-50 to 60-40, like that type of a setup, one of the biggest things I see is people just get way too overly confident and they're not respecting the variance of the situation. So step one, trade with trend. Step two, probably size down from whatever your normal sizing is. And then step three, as soon as something trends a little bit in your favor, there's no pattern day trading in futures, especially in sim-to-funded futures trading. Just take all risk off the table. It's proper risk management. I think too many people are focused on how to identify trades that have this like amazing, huge bullish return, like a lot of profitable return. I shouldn't say bullish, but a huge profitable return. That's not the focus. From all the trader I've met in my career, whether they're successful in the sim-to-funded prop space, whether they're successful as a hedge fund, whether they're successful as a retail trader trading a futures account, options account, crypto account, the one common thing you're going to see is risk management. It's not necessarily some like super secret formula of like, oh, no, I knew this was going to be a big winner. It's randomly distributed. What they do is they take a lot of attempts and they take risk off the table. And then every once in a while, one of those attempts happens to be a big winner. But it's not like they only knew about the big winners and took all their shots at that. No, they took a lot of shots, basically properly managed their risk across the board. And then just by pure randomness, one of the ones is like what really crushed it. And because the other ones were break even, people don't remember them and they're not sexy and they don't really get drilled into your memory in a general sense. But there was just a lot of shots. Like, it's fishing. You're casting in your lure a ton, and it's the name of the game is how can you stay in this marathon that is trading for an extreme amount of time? Like an extreme amount of time. Well, you stay in it for an extreme amount of time by always keeping your risk small. That's exactly what you do. Like 100%, that is what you have to do. I don't quite like this. I would have liked an attempted bounce here first for me to short it, which actually could be this one right here.
Order submitted.
Fuck it. Freebie play. I don't know if it works. All I can tell you is all my risk's off the table. All of my risk is off the table. Do I want to move it to 90? That would guarantee 200. I'm worried about the unrealized drawdown and how extreme that is. I'm going to leave it here for a second, and I want to use this high as my risk, so I'm looking for this failure at 67. The failure of 67, I move my stop down to this high. And if it bounces, it's going to kind of fuck up my unrealized. Whatever. It's a free trade. Like I said, a lot of these freebie trades get knocked out for break even, but that's all right. If you're knocked out of 4, it's that 5th one. That's a huge trend following trade. All right. I'm guaranteeing myself some money, 12 points, about $200. So that should bring every account up to at least 2,000 on the day. We'll see. It's you cannot be in control of what the next bar is, but you can be in control of your risk management. And I would actually say that's a better skill set than instead of your profit taking. If you're always managing your risk, eventually you're just going to, like, by pure luck, find the big winner. We'll see. Is it coming for me?
Order filled.
Knocked out. It's fine. I made $200 per account, brought all the accounts up to 1,000 on the day. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. And I do that because right here, okay, so it would be testing at break even. There's one of two options. Either it turns right there and I say, "Aw, shucks, I could have held in," and it pukes anyway. And great, that would have been a huge winning trade for me. That is a possibility. And let's just even say that happens 90% of the time. Let's say in some sort of hypothetical universe, you get into a good trade, it comes against you, and if you held 9 out of 10 times, it breaks in your favor anyway. That is really tough to accept, but think about the math of this. The other 10% of the time, the other 1 in 10 times, it does this, and I was short at 501, and now I'm already 30 points underwater. I'm down $600. I did make a gain of 800. Now I'm only up 200 on the day, praying that this turns so I can get out break even. So right here, even if it happens 1 in 10 times, you have to think about how the negative impact to your account is mathematically different than the positive impact, because you can make an infinite amount of positive trades, but you can't with negative trades. With negative trades, you're getting closer and closer to the blowout. So that it's a part of the game. It's a brutal part of the game. And I know in our minds, we think of it of like winning $1,000 and losing $1,000. They're the same weight. It's just in the opposite directions. Mathematically, especially on these types of prop accounts, it is not at all. Losing $1,000, especially on a new account, is far more mathematically detrimental to you than making $1,000 is positive. I know that sounds a little bit weird, and maybe I'm not saying it exactly the way that I should, but I think some of you are getting the point that, yesterday was proof. I lost $17,000 per account, realized, locked in, and the way I was able to get out to claw back 14K of that was this methodology. It was just a bunch of shots, and I moved the stop to break even, and if it got hit, it got hit, and I just kept taking shots, and as soon as it went a little bit into my favor, I just moved the stop to break even and I moved on. I didn't all of a sudden develop this emotional attachment where I'm like, no, that one trade right when I made it has to be the perfect trade. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you just don't know. You don't know. So right here, I had one pretty good trade. I had another trade that I don't mind this risk management. I moved it up to that high. It would have knocked me out for break even. Right here, I would have been sweating. I would have been down 40 points. I would have been break even on the day. And then guess what? It did puke in my favor, but you can't be in control of that. Also, if you took this short here at 20 to 25 in here, I'm not the biggest fan of it just because we put in a higher low. It's a lower high. So you're basically just betting on consolidation breaking in your favor, which once again, in this case, consolidation, you have a 5% edge. Consolidation, you have a 5% edge that it breaks in your favor, as in 55 to 45. So I don't mind that trade, especially if you already moved your stop to break even and you're betting on this breakdown. But I don't know. It's just, we're not really necessarily trending at the moment. Well, we might be if this snaps, but I'm just noticing the lower high and the higher low. So you just kind of have to wait on that one. You have to wait. I was watching this battle. This is a very important battle. It looks like the bulls are losing this battle, and I would be expecting, if we do flush, see how we came right up to that one reversionary bounce high right at 6609. We're cracking this low. My next watch would be 6575. Obviously, you had a great entry here at 604. You could chase this to the downside at 92, but I would size it accordingly where your risk is 607. And as soon as you flush 84, the actual low here, I'd be moving my stop to break even. You're noticing the overall point here of it It's far more of a game of risk management than massive profitable returns. It really is. Does anyone know, is Apex back? Has anyone tried this? Can I get a report from you folks? They're running a crazy deal, but I feel bad that it's seemingly a lot of you are not able to take advantage of it currently. Does anyone know? Matt, advice. I don't have enough money to sell puts on QQQ. Thoughts on selling them on stocks, still 3x inverse. It's trading around 35. Well, what do you mean selling? You would just do put credit spreads. You would do spreads instead of just straight up selling puts. No, website doesn't load. Well, that's a bummer. Well, that's a freaking bummer. Oh, that was actually a great trade. The breakdown at 22. That was actually a phenomenal trade. You could see it better here. Look at this. Look at how, oh, that was beautiful. It pumps up into the cloud. You take the breakdown at 23. Your risk was 47. Pushes a little bit, breaks down at 77 here. Stop to break even. You have a free trade. Your risk is at 23. If it pukes, great. If it bounces all the way back up, it didn't cost you anything anyway. That was a great trade. Also, this was a trade today. I was a little bit chasing on it myself. I could have been in 20 points earlier, and it probably would have worked out way, way better. But that's a great trade there too. Right here, we're bouncing into the cloud, starts to break with the overall trend. And more important than the overall price trend is actually, I would argue, the options flow. When I'm attempting to define my trend on the day, yeah, I care about price, and I'm not saying you shouldn't pay attention to it, but whoa, what the fuck is this? A lot of put selling coming in here. This might be a double bottom bounce, a little bit of a W. I'm just calling this out right now because of what I'm seeing happening with puts. Starting at 10.05, people are no longer aggressively betting against this. You should be very careful chasing this to the downside. That is a large delta bounce, and the Mag 7 is no longer selling. It seems like things stopped at 10.05. So just throwing that onto everyone's radar, that as of the current options flow, I would actually argue that there's a better chance of a like double bottom W formation than anything else. Just if this continues, if you see the S&P 500 pop, if you see the Mag 7 go flat or curl up, I would actually think it's going to be more likely that we see this W formation, and your confirmation of that would be the break of 6609, which is kind of where we double triple topped right here recently. I was more so favoring the puke to 6575, but I didn't realize that the S&P 500 had pumped that much since 10.05 and the Mag 7 stopped puking. So obviously if the downward trend in options continues and like we actually start to break down on the Mag 7 and break down on the S&P 500, yeah, pretty evident target at 6575. But for right now, I would not be chasing. I already did 2 chases myself to the downside. I'm not looking for that anymore. I am not looking for that anymore by any means. The S&P 500 delta flow is showing too much strength. So at this point, I'm either waiting for it to have enough strength that the 5-minute and the 10-minute break out in a bullish direction, or I'm waiting for the delta flow to break back to the downside. But this is where I got fucked up yesterday. Not only was I trading against trend, which if you want to trade against trend, like I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing, because you could trade against trend, and even if you have a 60-40 shot or 40-60 shot or 50-50 shot, it does come down to like risk management. I think you're going to have more of an edge if you're trading with trend, but I don't think that this little reversion here, I don't think this is fictitious. I'm looking at options flow right now. That's showing some strength. Check VIX. The VIX is showing a little bit of weakness right here, but nothing crazy. If it if it cracks this recent low, and if we start to puke to 24, that actually might be leading back up to the low value from yesterday. I'm seeing a big bounce in Bitcoin. Was there news being announced? Where does this happen? Is there any breaking news? Any breaking news? Oh, James Wynn just bought 50 Bitcoin. But buying blood is buying blood. Major short position still active, but will always take profits and add to the long-term spot holdings. Interesting. So he's kind of hedging it out a little bit. I'm not seeing any crazy news here. All right, let me put that up Let me check my news feed in the Goonie Trading Discord. 10:01 U.S. factory orders month over month, 1.4. Forecast was 1.4. So our factories are back online, which is a good thing. Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Anthropic unveil major strategic partnership with a multi-billion-dollar investment with massive Azure compute commitment. NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Anthropic are all now, I guess, in bed together. And then Fed Bar is speaking at 10:30, so that's in 8 minutes. But it looks like what's saving the market right now is the Microsoft, NVIDIA, Anthropic. Let's see if we can. This seems to be what's bouncing the market right here. Cool. Today, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Anthropic announced a new strategic partnership. Anthropic is scaling its rapidly growing Claude AI model on Microsoft Azure, powered by NVIDIA, which will broaden access to Claude and provide Azure enterprise customers with expanded model choice and new capabilities. Anthropic has committed to purchase $30 billion of Azure compute capacity and to contract additional compute capacity up to 1 gigawatt. So this was announced right around 10:00. What time was that announced? It was just past the 10 a.m. hour. Surprise, surprise. Where did we stop seeing the bleed? Right past the 10 a.m. hour. S&P 500, where did we see the bottom? Right past the 10 a.m. hour. So maybe this is why the market got excited. Maybe they're just buying the dip. I don't know, but the timing does kind of perfectly align. And we know recently a lot of these AI companies sucking off each other and just kind of a circular movement of money is what has actually really helped the market. So not too surprised we started to get the bounce there. We got a higher low. You could call it a W. You could call it a double bottom. But as I told you, I like to trade with trend, and it seems like something measurably has changed at 10:05. So maybe you call it just the change of the hour, which is true. Maybe you call it because of the news. It doesn't matter why it happens. It matters that it is happening. You don't get bonus money for predicting or for explaining why a price movement happened. You get money from just being on the right side of price movement. So as much as you want to explain this, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. But I think what's going to be pretty telling right here is the pullback that we're currently experiencing on the 1 minute. It's how deep does this come back? We already have a higher high. This high right here at 1023 took out the recent 2 highs, the recent 3 highs. The real question is how deep is this pullback going to be? I think that's going to be telling. And then the other things that's going to be impacting this is Barr, who's a voting FOMC member, speaking in about 5 minutes. Hopefully he doesn't come off as hawkish as all the other Fed members were yesterday. Thanks, Matt, on your call on put selling plus 1,500. Dude, that's all you. Massive congrats. How many of you are up on sim to funded prop trading, whether it's Apex or Funded Futures Network or TPT? What kind of numbers are you guys dealing with today? Do we have any big winners? Do we have any big losers? How are you guys doing? Do we have any people who passed the Apex accounts this morning? Where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? Let's see some of those numbers. I know in general life, you're not allowed to brag about a lot of this, but this is the one place where you are, in fact, encouraged to brag. You are encouraged to brag. 72. Oh, that's a large risk, though. That's 4. I like this long right here, but I'm not taking it because it's too much risk. I like it. I'm going to be honest. I like this breakout long at 72. Your risk is 32. I'm not taking it because I don't feel like risking 40 points, which is $800. I would do it if I was only trading these bigger accounts, and already here I'd be at my stop at break even. Stop's already at break even. And what's nice about it is you're now trading with option trend. Oh, you might get knocked out for break even anyway. Yeah, you're knocked out for break even. You took an attempt, it got smacked at 600. Why I'm not 100% in love with this and I wouldn't give it like an A+ setup is because momentum is still pretty bad. Obviously, you are now, Mag 7's not dying. S&P 500 is pumping, but see the 5, the 10, the 30, the 4 hour, it's all bearish. 5, 10, 30, 4 hours, all bearish. I would have taken the 40-point risk if the 10-minute and the 30-minute had bullish momentum on ES and NQ, but since it's kind of a counter momentum trade, I'd be willing to trade with the momentum of the S&P 500 that you're seeing right here, but it's not worth a 40-point risk to me. It's not worth a 40-point risk. I would have taken it if it was a 15-point risk and been like, all right, I'll take a stab at it. But the fact that it's not the A-plus setup means I don't want to take on that much risk. And in all reality, it'll probably prove to be a pretty solid trade. Obviously, a better entry was probably here at 62. You waited for the pump, the pullback, the higher low, the break, 62, risking 32. So that would have been 30 points. And you wouldn't have been tested and your stops break even and you're looking for it to hold above 600. Your target is probably going to be VWAP 84. So I would target something like 80. But if you're in at 60, that's a 120 point return with no risk. And I'm saying no risk because your stops already break even. Pass an Apex 50K. Nate, shout out. Need 99 more to pass 20 evals today. Sean, I hope you crush it. 150 the last 2 days, nothing major. Hey, dude, 1,500 in 2 days sounds pretty good to me. Are we chilling on VIX puts? I am, but I don't know what your trading plan is. Up big, brother. 800 on 2 Apex evals, blew a PA on Friday. Well, I'm happy for the recent success, but the PA, I'm right there with you. I recently blew quite a few of them. I haven't lost money. Woohoo, wiener. Up a cool $0. Hey, it's better than being down $0. Didn't pass any accounts, but made $500 on puts today, and I'm happy about that. Dude, that's awesome. That's sick. That's absolutely awesome. All right. I want to see if this structure is breaking down or not. We're at that awkward point of will the prevailing trend of down continue, or are we attempting to actually reverse trend? So I'm watching a little bit of this structure, obviously. I'm looking to see if we recover or don't. How is the flow looking right here? A little bit questionable. I'm hoping that this low at 1024 can hold, or if you're bullish, that's what you should be looking to hold. Obviously, if it breaks, then it kind of puts us in no man's land because we don't know how deep the pullback's going to be, and we know we have a fresh high. Vol is holding on just below 25, so a little bit indecisive. So we got the pump at 1020, and now we've been kind of range bound from 1021 until now. We pumped range bound, just waiting on a ideally definitive break in one direction or the other. Yeah, that's our range on SPY. That's our range on QQQ. We got this higher low. We got a higher high. The question is, how deep is this pullback going to be? Life would be easier if we don't take out the 1024 low. The Mag 7 flat, tilting down a little bit. S&P 500, it was pumping, but now going flat, which is maybe why we're losing a little bit of our footing here, because we're not seeing that absurd optimism of put selling and call buying. Starting at 10:05, the green line are your 0 DTE calls. The light blue are your 0 DTE puts. That's a lot of put selling. That's a lot of call buying. So you're removing negative delta and you're adding positive delta, hence why price really popped, because the market makers had to properly hedge out their books on that. Huh. Oh, fuck. I mean, it's just so much risk. 40 points, 50 points. I just don't know. Like, I can risk it with these ones that are already up because I don't have to worry about the unrealized drawdown. But for the Apex accounts and for the take profits, it's unrealized drawdown. And it's just like, if I'm wrong, which even if you're wrong, let's be really generous and only call it a little bit. I mean, getting long at 80 and risking 34, that's a 45-point risk. That's $900. I mean, and the sad thing is this trade's probably going to work. I just don't know if I'm accepting of that much risk. I would be on the larger accounts because whatever, they're back to break even, and I think the risk reward is worth it. Maybe I'll get really lucky that I was being cautious here. If you can catch this breakout, I mean, there's a shot you get to ride it all the way back up to VWAP if there is a breakout. But the market is not making the game an easy one today, is it? The market is not making it an easy one. We are starting to shit out on the 1 minute. Well, I'm happy I didn't take that one. That would have been a bad hit on variance. Yeah, Cloudflare is having issues. Cloudflare is clearly having some issues. Is this a little fake out? A little fake out? This 80 line seems to be incredibly important. I just don't like how far away you have to risk it. And also, you could downsize. You don't have to trade minis. You could go and trade 5 micros and cut your risk in half. And all of a sudden, instead of a 50-point risk, it's a 25-point risk. And then that's a lot more manageable. Are the Fed members talking? Yeah, they're starting now. Barr is talking. And they're giving us some weird bank supervision, a conversation with Governor Michael S. Barr. Let's hope he doesn't say some crazy hawkish shit today. Like I said, I think this trade works. It sucks that on the first attempt you got swept and then it pumped anyway. But now that's even a larger risk. You're in at 80, your risk is 20. That's 60 points. And even though it's probably going to work, and it's just, this trade is probably going to produce a 100-point return. It's too large of a risk for my accounts to risk 60 points. I could probably risk 30, as in I could probably trade 5 micros instead. I'm just not going to do it because I at this point, when every account is up $1,000, I just don't really feel the need to be, overly crazy with any of it. But that's just me. If you want to take a stab at it, I wish you the best. But just kind of watching this structure right here, you can see we got that pump, which was really denoted by a bunch of 0 DTE call buying and a bunch of 0 DTE put selling. And since then, we're just oddly in this range. We're not really getting a solid breakout one way or the other. We pumped. We're trying to go smack. So you just have to wait. It's a little bit of consolidation. And the beautiful thing about futures is it's so incredibly levered that if you just have the patience to wait for the perfect trade, you're going to make enough money anyway. So you don't really necessarily have to feel that pressure of trading every single thing. If you miss trades, it's completely fine. Thanks for teaching me about risk management, Adventure Joe. Hey, I appreciate you applying risk management to your trades. VIX is picking up a little bit. Bitcoin stalling out at 92.5. I guess this is the structure we could watch now. Let me get rid of these. I think it's just easier to see it this way. That's what I'm watching. We have a slight downsloping trend line, a slight upsloping trend line on SPY and QQQ. Market has become kind of indecisive because we look to be breaking, and then around 1010 we saw, but see how we're starting to tilt back over here in the Mag 7. See the S&P 500. We had that nice pump, but look at the SPY. It's not really giving much back. It is in price, but the pump is holding, which makes it kind of awkward. It makes the whole thing a little bit awkward. So big bullish pump in the SPY delta, but now going flat. Mag 7 is showing some weakness. Like we popped a little, held that, and then starting at 1033, starting to take a little bit of a hit. Looking at momentum, the 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4 hours all bearish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4 hour is all bearish. VIX is rising. We're coming to the bottom of the sloping trend line here on the SPY and the Q. So let's watch this. No matter what Trump says, his supporters think he's playing 4D chess. That's probably true. I mean, it's not true for all of his supporters, but there's a lot of people who think he can do no wrong. And I think, not even specific to Trump, but when you think that about any politician, I think that is a grave overestimation, because I think politicians are fallible. I think they are not just humans, but I think they actually make a lot more fuck ups than the average human, because I think the only way to get to that position of power is to already have some things broken in your brain that helps you succeed to that level. So, I mean, we can't paint with that wide of a brush to say it's all of them, But yeah, it is many of them. And to be fair, you saw it on the other side as well. You saw people who had the same idea of like, oh, they can't do anything wrong, and they applied it to Obama, they applied it to Biden, they applied it to Harris. That's just the current state of politics. It's just the current state of politics are based on minimal to low information. People decide what tribe they are a member of, and then they defend it endlessly, and they disregard all empirical things. Like they don't care about it. It's just they pick one side and they're like, this is the side I have to be a member of. And they will endlessly defend it and only talk about the positives. And then for the other side, only talk about the negatives. So unfortunately, we're seemingly in a point that we are very, very, very far away from, I guess, crossing the aisle and having chit chats with each other. All right. SPY trend line is testing right here. And it just so happens to be at this failed pump. We got up, but see how it tried at 50 EMA, try to fight. Nope, breakdown at 1034. We puke. We almost went up to 6,600. I wonder what this is going to bring. Mag 7, not looking so good. SPY did take a little bit of a hit. We basically got rejected at the overnight extreme. All right, I don't need this structure. I don't need this structure. I don't need this structure. The 5,000 tick, all below. It's below VWAP, kind of bearish. But let's see. Let's see what kind of a pump we either do or don't have coming. How big will this be?
Order submitted.
Fuck. I was hoping the rejection off of 500 would offer, come on. Shit. I think I'm getting clocked on this one. I'm getting clocked on this one.
Order filled.
Yeah, right there. What I saw was a triple wick at 500, and then of course it goes in my way anyway. Fuck. That's a tough one. It wicked right above. It got up to 510. That's a tough one. I thought I was being smart. Wick. I get in. I'm risking that. Didn't think there'd be a fourth test. And then that one. And of course, right now it'd still already be fine. But like I said, that very easily could have been a big rebound. And it could have just blown past me. And today, the way we're moving, we could already be trading at, instead of 500, 600, and then I lose all the accounts anyway. So as much as that's like a brutal thing to see and to experience, like right here, I mean, not having that, I think that's a great setup. I love this setup. We vomit, we bounce, it fails. We bounce again, we double, triple top. I take the breakdown. I could have been a little bit faster to the entry, so that would have helped me out a little bit, but we're rejecting a key level. I like the setup. It just didn't go my way. Like that, it's gonna happen. That is trading. And now we're battling it on this. So I gave back about half of what I was up. I was up 1,000 and now I'm up 500 per account. I thought that was a worthwhile thing just because I saw another part of that particular trade, just to further expand on it, was right here. It was this failure in the last minute that I was like, oh, it's going up to 6.6. It's going to fail. And I was trying to play down to 6.575. Just didn't happen. That's all right. If you are holding yourself to being accountable of winning on every single trade, you're going to fucking hate trading. You're going to hate trading. It's just about half the time you're going to lose. So it's how much can you minimize that risk? Oh, the wicks on the 5 minute are crazy. Yeah. Yes, he can do wrong. He is playing 5D chess. Nobody thinks he can do no wrong, but it should be easy to see that he and his team are unmatched in our lifetime. Yeah, spoken like a person who's completely not biased whatsoever. I'm sure you have a completely fair, objective, neutral take on all of his stuff. Sounds like a man who, I didn't want to do that. Fuck. It's going to break my way anyway. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. $35. So if I'm wrong, if it breaks here and I take this trade, I'd be slightly red on the day. Is it worth the risk? I mean, it's a good signal. What's options flow looking like? It's a failure at 600, but Mag 7's popping up a little bit. SPY is kind of flat. What is it trying to do here? It's the trade. I got to stick to the signal. Stick to the signal. Be robotic. Be emotionless. We'll see. Maybe it's a fake out breakdown. That's completely possible. Knowing my luck, it'll be the break. Just knock me out and then puke in my favor anyway. If I wanted to give it a little bit more room, I could use this recent. Filled. Fuck, dude. That was... I stuck to this system. That's all you could do. That's all you can do, but I am getting worried about the smaller accounts. The bigger accounts are fine because there's no unrealized drawdown, but now I only have 1.3K of drawdown on the other ones, which is why I'm trading one contract at a time. Dude, this just keeps flashing the same fucking signal. It's the next trade.
Order submitted.
I gotta be emotionless. Just gotta stick to it. That's the name of the game. And I would love to update my risk to be nothing. And to do that, I needed to take out 64. Can variance help me? I just need this to break 64 or touch 64. I just need to move the stop to break even to get a free play. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for. Even to take out 71 would be nice. Dude, these fucking bounces, man. Do I want to move it to 95? Only take on 6 points of risk? I will. I just need it to snap something. I need it to... See? It just... Dude, it's moving so many points like it's nothing. Let's move this up to 1750. I just wanted it a wick above. Which way is it going to go? All the trend is pointing down. It's just more of, can I get in without getting swept? Can I? If it push 70, Jesus, man. It's not making any fresh low. Fortunately for me, it's also not making a fresh high, but let's see. I just need to remind myself, don't take on more risk than anticipated. Just stick to the plan. Let the math be the math. Just don't get tilted. And in an effort to not get tilted, that's exactly why I'm using only one contract today, putting myself in a little bit of the doghouse. If it can just break 71, if it could break 64, I could either update to 502 or I could update to 89. Which way is it going to go? Which one? Just trying to be a machine. Fuck, dude. Even right there, it tapped 70. We are just chopping sideways. We are not making any nice trends, which I shouldn't complain because I'd rather it chop sideways than be actively going against me. So I'm not going to complain too much. I wish I just held this one from 20. Come on, baby. Just take, what is this? 64 seems to be like a pretty important golden level here. Here's a look at Bookmap. There's people at 55 and 50. Fuck, another bounce to 80. Risk management. Part of me does want to move the stop right now to 89, but the fact that we're moving like 20 points like it's nothing, it feels like it could just so easily get wicked. Obviously, I'm using this reason extreme, but like it could just pop and dump. Granted, it could also, I guess, theoretically pop all the way up here, but in my mind, I am being protected by 500. I saw the rejection here and here. It's pretty much the same trade that I saw over here at 1039. I like that wick because I might be able to use that wick as my risk, which is my entry. But once it just, there's a lot of buyers protecting the 70 to 50 level right now. Or maybe not enough sellers to drive it down. Oh, I need it to sweep right here, 64, and it is not. We're moving real quick today. It is a slippery surface. I would love to take off all risk. I'm at that point in the trade where I've been in it long enough, but the fact that I'm still taking on risk, I'm not the most comfortable with. All right, so there's some people at 92, but some buyers just came in at 70 here. So we're ping-ponging between 70 and 92 where you see the heat map. Oh, which way is it going to be? I'm just reminding myself, just stick to the plan. We have a plan for a reason. Stick to the plan. All right. Took all the risk off the table on that sweep. Once again, just keeping it calm, cool, collected, sticking to the plan. That's the plan. Because I have newer accounts, I should probably quickly update it to 61 here if we flush this. Flush 40. Flush 40. SPY just got hit there. So there is maybe support at 420. And then if that breaks, we have technical support all the way down at 158. My stop isn't at break even. Hopefully this bounce isn't so large that it knocks me out. Fuck. Dude, these bounces, these ranges are just so large. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Holy shit. How close was that? Well, it's coming for me anyway.
Order filled.
Fuck, dude. Well, I took a stab at it, and I know that there's probably going to be people who are saying, well, why wouldn't you just follow it more? Because you don't know how to trade and you're not making money. Had that vomited all the way to 400, it was a freebie trade with a max reward of, I don't know, I had it at 400, so that was 1,800. It's just a game of risk reward, folks. It's a game of risk reward. And if you're taking a bunch of shots that cost you nothing, once again, the stop was at break even. That your argument of like, hang on, I think you kind of misplayed that. That's a fair argument if I was still taking on risk. There's a big, big difference between when it goes in your favor like that, and if it bounces back, you're going to get knocked out and in the red. That's a completely different mathematical situation than I took a free shot. My stop's at break even. I got in and out at the same price. If you do those all day, I'm just using this example time and time again. If you get stopped out 4 times, it costs you nothing. And the 5th time that it works is where you make all your money. I think there's people put on that pressure on themselves. Fuck. It's going to fire another signal. I'm looking at Icarus over here. I think people put on a lot of pressure that they think they have to make money every single trade, but they don't realize that trading itself is like normally distributed, as in it's just effectively random the next bar. Oh. How do I want to play this one?
Order submitted.
Playing the same game, folks. You know the story. I'm trading with trend, and just to fact check me of am I with trend, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish. Obviously, we are pressing on this structure on the SPY. We're pressing on the spectre on the Qs. VIX is picking up a little bit. We got rejected for the 19th time at 6,600, still targeting 6,575. Maybe it flushes, maybe it doesn't. Of course, you could argue, no, like what if it just bounces from here? Maybe it does. That's why I want to move my stop to break even, to take that attempt, and then the attempt doesn't cost me anything. Obviously, when I first put on the trade, there is risk, like clearly, like right now I'm taking on risk. But if we sweep 53, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all my risk off the table. And just pray that this isn't a higher low. Oh, fuck.
Order canceled.
For what? Why did it yell at me, order canceled? I don't understand. Order canceled on what? What account does it think I blew out? Fuck. That's going to bother me. And it's coming for me.
Order filled.
All right, so the apex were the lost ones. How is that possible? Was I really up that much at one point? This is like, in reality, when you're taking the test, I like just to degen it. I find that it's far easier on my life. So even though I only lost 800, quote unquote, like the unrealized drawdown, they have that rule for a reason because they know it's going to fuck you up. That's why they have that rule. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They don't put in the unrealized drawdown to make you a better trader and to help you out. That's not what it's there for. That's it. They know that it causes you to blow out. I'm only down $800, and yet I lost that test, quote unquote, because of their unrealized drawdown. Like they know why they do that. So, which is fine. Like if you don't like the rule, you don't like the rule, and you don't have to use it. And that's just part of the game. Why are these still trading? Why did these not copy trade out? Entry. When it said order canceled, is that what it, for some reason, it pulled the order, the stop order on these? These are still live in a position for some reason. Did I fuck up the trade copier? It seemed like the trade copier was working as expected today. That's strange to me. That's strange. I thought, I don't know, maybe, who knows if it's like some sort of fucking Cloudflare issue or some shit. Ah, dude. It's just all these are legitimately good trades right here. You just never know. This looks absurdly weak. Like, who wouldn't short that? You have these lower highs. You came back up into the cloud where we have a downside target. That's a great entry. It just so happens that the next bar, it fucks you. Like, it just, you can't be in control of that. And if you're thinking that there's that magic mystical guru out there, it doesn't exist, dude. It simply does not exist. But what might exist is a breakdown of 73. What's the flow looking like right now? We're hanging out at 6.6. Mag 7 climbing up a little bit. SPY. We're really holding on to this trend line. Basically, every single time it looks weak, I'm trying to take advantage of it with low risk.
Order submitted.
Something's
Order
going on with
submitted.
my... Fuck. Something's going on with my copier right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is going on? What the fuck happened? I guess I double submitted. I'm trying to just get out of one quick. I don't want to be in this, honestly. Maybe I move it up to 61 just to get the fuck out. I can also handle them independently if I so chose to. Come on, lock it in. Lock, you son of a bitch. $56 and my fill was at 55. Fill it. No way. 55.25.
Order filled.
There we go. Free trade. Free trade. And it looks like it's already coming for me. Son of a bitch. I just cannot get in on this. Oh, am I going to get lucky? Probably not. It just, these ranges are so big today. I'm just not willing to really go deeper in, and I kind of got lucky with that one fill, so I don't really want to press my luck here. But I mean, if it fails at 57, if we flush 57, my whole game plan today is just to take a bunch of shots at low risk,
Order
and if I can
filled.
catch the trade at one point, I can catch the trade at one point. It just so happened to not be that fucking one. So instead of being down 1,000, it's down 700. Oh, dude, we are taking stabs at this nonstop. It's just nothing. Why is bro bearish? Can you see? Why am I bearish? Holy fuck. Is this your first day trading? I don't know, dude. If you can't understand why someone is bearish right now, you should legitimately not trade. And then of course it breaks in my fucking favor. Look at that. It wicked me out by 2 points and then it vomits anyway. Yeah, you're fucking stupid if you don't understand why someone could be bearish. I love you, Matt. Don't stress. I'm not stressing. I'm calling you fucking retarded. That's not stress. It's actually, I find it dumbfounding that you could be so stupid to not understand why someone is bearish. Like, truly, for the sake of your financial health, you should not trade. Truly, truly, truly. What a dumb fucking comment. Could you explain to me the bear case? Yeah, no, blows my mind. I, for one, cannot see why someone would be bearish. Nope. It escapes me. You guys are right. I don't see what's going on. You're right. Everything is looking bullish. Yep. You're so right. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know where I'm seeing a bearish thing develop. I'm at a loss. I'm just completely wrong on this one. I guess I must have just missed it. I must have missed it. Whose account is 700 on most accounts? Wow, that's Carlos, another fucking genius in here. Yeah, it doesn't matter that I'm up $250,000 in 3 weeks. I guess you're right to call out the $700 I'm down today. That you also seem like a lights out trader. Both folks, join me in a round of applause. We are just Carlos and Nathan here, just fucking lights out amazing traders. What's crazy about it is I would literally bet my net's worth that they both are net losing traders. Smug Matt is the best. I'm not being smug. I'm just like, how fucking dumb are people that they like fall for this shit time and time and time again? Like, fuck. Nathan and Carlos, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, actually, like, legitimately dumb. And what's crazy about it is they like think they're right and they think they're good at this. And they think like, dude, just look at your accounts. How deeply red are you this month, this year? Like, you guys are just fucking dumb. And I guess it's one thing if you're doing it for yourself and it's your own account. The issue is people like you then try to teach. And then they try to explain to people that even though they're net losers, the way they view the market is the best. So silly. What's your biggest win? I don't even know. I've never had a 7-figure win. I've had multiple 6-figure wins. I'm not being smug, but how fucking dumb are you? That's not smug. I don't think you understand. Like, that's just a dictionary definition like issue there, meat eater. I don't think you know what smug means. I'm a long-term investor. Cool, I guess. Then what are you doing in this show? Why are you here? Long-term investor, there's no point in you paying attention then. Long-term investing is comically easy. You just buy quality blue chip stocks and you move on with your life. Like, it's not some sort of like incredibly difficult formula to figure out. Any long puts right now? It's pretty chasey if you're doing long puts at the moment because vol's already expanded and we've already had like the technical breakdowns. If you're in it, ride the trend, obviously. Wow, I can't believe I got just knocked out on that. Just enough to get fucking goosed. I'm going to want that trade back. I got here at 70. It went up to 73, knocked me out. I was short, locked in one. It popped up, and then that was it. Literally, if I took 3 points of heat, 3 points of heat, the question is, how much am I willing to go down on this today? Because you have this at 430, But if it breaks down, it's at 24.4. It's just how can I continue to play this trend with the most minimal risk possible? Recovery to 50. Well, that's a pop. How is the flow looking? SPY flow's picking back up. This might be an actual attempt to change trend on the flush. We hit 75, so we're bouncing off of that key gamma level. It's one thing if you're chasing to the downside when you have overhead resistance and you're looking for the puke. It's very different to chase it to the downside when you've already hit this key level. So knowing this, you could have actually tried to have done like a pretty crazy dip buy or something like that if you wanted to off this key level, or maybe you played this breakout here at 82, risking 75, trying to play it back up. But these breakdown trades were way different than chasing it post hitting 75, because like that's the key level that we're expecting people to in one way or another react to. So I just want to point that out, because not only were we bouncing off that key gamma level at 6575, but right here, SPY was getting hit till we hit it. And then surprise, surprise, as soon as we hit it, look at what changed. So we've been kind of switching our modes here and there every so often. And you want to pay attention to those at key levels. So before I was comfortable chasing it, and granted, I made a little bit of money. I was down 1,000, then I got down 700, and unfortunately it wicked out before I got to play this. That's what I was looking to play, and it was this little wick here at 1101 that kind of fucked me up a bit. But anyway, look at that. That's a strong reversion. You're in at 82.83, risking 75. Your stop is now break even. You're scaling out at 6.6, and if you break through, great, you have one. You have a runner. You have a runner. We're also bouncing enough to get this retest of the trend line here. Let's go to the 5 minute. Let's go to the 5 minute. A little bit easier to see. Perhaps. Yeah, a little bit of a trend line test. So we're literally just bouncing off that gamma level. I wouldn't mind a gigantic reversal from here. I don't think it's out of the cards, because of everyone just knows that the market, like the big events, are tomorrow. So some sort of reversion back to equilibrium, potentially all the way up to 6,640, 6,650, maybe even the closing value. I think that's very much in the cards today, just because the market probably wants to be a little bit more neutral going into this. So I'm trying to better articulate the switch in mentality of we hit the key level. Whenever we hit a key level, then from there you have to watch for the reaction. The reaction off this key level, which was called out before the market opened, we saw a clear shift in option sentiment, Now the question is, does it have legs? From there, to try to determine does it have legs, well, we can look at the recent risk on barometer, Bitcoin bouncing all the way to 93. You could watch vol cracking 2450, the 1020 low. That could be a legit change. So the question here is, we dipped and made a fresh low at 11. And you could argue, but Matt, that's a lower low. And you're 100% right. What I'm saying is we hit a key level and the market reacted. That's why we lay out the key levels. We're not trying to predict the bounce or the breakdown. We pay attention. We bounce, showed a little weakness. That little weakness turned into bullishness. That's your entry. You go to your target. Halfway through, your stop is break even. You scale out a bit and you get to ride it. Now, we're at another key level. I am in no way telling you to be bullish or bearish here. What I'm pitching to you is just pay attention. Maybe this is a legitimate trend change, and you could get the idea from option flow. If it keeps picking up, yeah, we might be switching. You could look at the VIX. If the VIX actually collapses, if we crack 2451, 100% something worthwhile to pay attention to. So this might be it, and it's just a classic change of the hour reversal. But the point is like dipshit Carlos and Nathan are trying to point out, is they think that there's a game that you could predict where this is going to go. And I get that, because they're just regurgitating what other fucktards on the internet are telling them, and they think they're learning from people. But reality, it's just the blind leading the blind, when the clear difference is when you look at how actual Wall Street reacts to this, is they're not trying to predict anything. Maybe Warren Buffett is, because he's a long-term investor. but it's just a game of odds. It's a game of risk management, and it's a game of reaction. It's not a game of prediction. That's the difference. That is 100% the difference. Nathan, only up. You might be right. But my point is if you're right, you don't even understand why you're right. You're right because saying only up, the market goes up half the time. If you flip a coin, you're going to be right 50% of the time. So you're trying to make it as if it's some sort of astounding prediction, but that's not what trading is. And unfortunately, you're completely missing the point of what you need to do to be a good trader. What are my current thoughts on MSTR? I have a big rally today compared to the overall market. I don't get why people care about MSTR. If you like Bitcoin, go buy Bitcoin. And if you look at MSTR, it's dramatically underperforming it. So if the argument is I like MSTR because I like Bitcoin, first of all, you could go buy Bitcoin. And if you want to be in the stock market, you could buy the ETF IBIT. I don't think people appreciate the other business issues going on with the Bitcoin treasury and what it means and what it doesn't mean. Not all Bitcoin treasuries are built the same. And maybe like MicroStrategies, but like at the end of the day, the proof is like the stock price. That is the scoreboard. And if you like Bitcoin, go get Bitcoin. If you really like Bitcoin, go get leveraged Bitcoin. I don't understand why people get into MSTR, because you have exposure to Bitcoin, you have exposure to Bitcoin ETFs, you have exposure to leveraged Bitcoin. So the only standalone argument is that you think you like the Bitcoin treasury, but the Bitcoin treasury is dramatically underperforming Bitcoin. So what gives there? Purely for trading. You can actively trade Bitcoin all the time. There's futures contracts, there's perps, there's leverage, there's options. What are you talking about? I think there's better tools at your disposal, is I guess my point. So when you're saying purely for trading, there's crypto prop firms, there's perp futures, perp contracts, there's futures, there's IBIT, there's BITX, there's a ton of options. Like, you have infinitely better tools. Bitcoin is my only Bitcoin, MSTR is my only Bitcoin play in 401k. Why? Why would you do MSTR and not IBIT? That, like, it doesn't make sense. Someone's going to need to explain that one to your boy of why you think that is a better opportunity. Like, why is MSTR better than IBIT? I don't see it. You're taking on the risk of Bitcoin in the long run being fine and MSTR blowing up. While if Bitcoin blows up, IBIT and MSTR blow up. So basically, in one scenario, you have one that blows up and one is fine, and the other, in the second scenario, they both blow up. So why would you not at least be in the scenario where if one does something poor, as in MSTR, you still have exposure? If Bitcoin goes down and MSTR goes down. If MSTR goes down, it's not necessarily like a given that Bitcoin will go down. Spy starting to sing, VIX is fading. I mean, VIX is a little bit of a double bottom here, maybe. I'm watching 2450. Also, what I'm really watching is this potential bounce off of 500. So not only is it 500, but it is the 50 EMA here. I wonder if buyers are going to step in at this level. Watching this. The 1 minute is getting pushed down into its cloud. Fuck it. I'll take a
Order
stab.
submitted.
The question is, do I want to risk 76 or do I want to risk 88? I own Bitcoin and ARKB. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't know what ARKB is. I like Bitcoin, though. You're an idiot. If BTC goes sky high, it will be the most profitable. BRC? What is BRC? There is no doubt in my mind that Saylor will one day be the world's richest man. I just disagree with having that tight of a sentiment. like you might be right, you might be wrong, but like to be like that overly confident, like you have to understand there's nothing given in this market. Like there's no, hey, like there's no freebie, there's no free lunch, there's nothing like that. All right, so if we could take out 31.32, I'm moving my stop to break even. I don't necessarily love my entry. I wish my entry was a little closer to 500 just because I would have that psychological level as natural support, even if I had the dip at 99, 98, but it is what it is, and I have to manage it as it currently exists. Move my stop up to that recent low. I probably should have done that earlier. Like I said, my current plan is the breakout of 31.32. I'm hoping 500 can hold. I'm really hoping this isn't one of those bullshit situations where it just sweeps the low, goes to like 86, 87, 85, knocks me out, and it goes anyway. Knowing my luck, the way it's played out today, it probably will be. But like I said, I'm trying to just not repeat. I find after you have either a big win or a big loss, the next day is very, very important. And beyond that one trade that I accidentally fucked up, I'm actually sizing down today. I'm trading one contract. And I'm trying to show you guys, well, like I keep literally every single trade, I'm reminding myself of risk management, just because I'm attempting to not repeat yesterday where I was trading gazillion contracts. I was fighting trend. I was doing all this stupid shit. You can have a lot of little losses if you control it, and you only need that one big winner to make it all back. ARK B. Oh, that's the ARK Invest ETF. Interesting. All right, so here I could move it to 501 or break even. I'm going to break even. If I was green on the day, I would use it as this low, but since I'm red on the day, I don't see the point in taking on additional risk. So look at that. Wait, where is... wasn't Carlos calling me out for being red on the day? If you judge any trader on one singular trade, that's crazy. Like the market is so distributed that you just don't know. There are the best traders in the world have losing days. The worst traders in the world have winning days. Like this idea of you can judge someone on like a trade or such a short time frame experience, it's the dumbest thing. Whether this trade wins or loses, it's a good trade. We are defining a trade being good or not based on the decisions that went into it. We pumped up, we pulled back, I got in on the first sign of a pump, I moved my stop to break even. Maybe it goes in my favor, maybe it doesn't. You don't know. And actually, I could have entered another one here at 48, risk 29, move that stop up to break even on the breakout of 69. Like, I suppose I look at the game of trading way more. Oh wait, hang on, 29. So that's 20 points. I could shave off $400 a loss, so that would be a loss of 300 if I move this risk up. So I have two options available to me. I can move my stop up to this recent low, which is a little aggressive, good chance of it getting clocked, but it would at least guarantee a 20-point return, which is $400. So my net loss would be 300 on the day. Manageable. Obviously, though, there's a better chance of that getting knocked out. However, if it does come, it might knock me out anyway, and then I get nothing. Or I could leave it all in and just let it ride. And maybe at that point, I should start to look at some of these other key levels. 610, 610, 610. The reason I moved it up to 610 was because I looked at these two wicks. We have a high of 92 and a high of 13. So as we push 92 and 600, that's when I'm going to start trailing it a little bit more aggressively. But as you can see, we are fortunately net positive on the day at this point. So if I'm down 700, that would be 35 points. So I would need to move my stop up to, I could actually use this low, and that would guarantee break even on the day. So if we push 90, I'm going to move my stop to break where the accounts are break even on the day. Here's 90. Okay. So when we hit that line, I'm using this low, which roughly is my accounts getting back to par on the day. Roughly. Come on. I'm just hoping. Where is VWAP at? I just need it. Oh, VWAP is 42. Had I had multiple contracts, I'd be scaling out one at 600, maybe like 99, stop to break even, and then the other one to 40. If I had multiple contracts, that's how I'd be playing it. If I had 3 contracts, I would do 99, 610, and then 640. Those would be my 3 targets. And as the first one hits, I'd be moving my stop to break even. So for anyone who maybe you're playing either multiple minis or multiple micros, something like that, once again, I would use 599, I would use 610, and I would use 40. The fact that I have 1 contract is why I'm picking that middle value. But if I had multiple, that's how I would do it. Played the long in at 24480, closed that at 2580 wick. Thanks for the guidance and advice. 2K on 3 Apex. Dude, Randy, congrats to you. Congrats to you. That's a sick trade. People are saying that it is up and working again. So if you want this Apex, like I said, this is the best deal I've ever seen them do. 80% off with the code Goonie. So you could get a 50K account for $35. And then when you pass to go to the lifetime fee, it's 40. So you could be all in for 75. And the best deal I could remember before this was all in for 98. So it's basically a 25% discount off the best deal I've ever seen them run. So I just want to call that out. It's basic. I assume it's a Black Friday deal, but take advantage of it. Code Goonie pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Like I said, take advantage while it is affordable. I'm moving. As you can see, I moved the stop up a little bit. So no matter what, the worst case scenario is these accounts are only going to be down 300. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is it's a 100 point return. I'm long at 509. My target is 610. That's 100 points. That's a $2,000 return. So my accounts will be up 1.3K. Best case scenario is I make 1.3K. Worst case scenario is I'm down 300. And we just push this. Like I said, all right, worst case scenario is my accounts are break even. Best case scenario, 1.3K, and we almost hit it. We hit 605. And fuck, I was hoping for a slight exaggerated overreaction. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh. We got within 4 points. That's brutal. I can withstand this because once again, my stop's at break even on the accounts and it's a gain of like 35 points, which cancels out that loss on the day. So I'm not really, of course I want it to just go and I want it to hit, but I'm just saying I'm not feeling the most pressure. I would have preferred if this stop was below the 50 MA. I'd feel a bit more comfortable about that, but I'm taking on no risk. The accounts guaranteed are break even on the day. Best case scenario, they are up 1.3K. I'm just targeting this level. Part of me is thinking about moving to 600, but fuck it. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Let's hear that magic number. Let's hear that magic dingity ding ding ding. Go, 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 go.
Order filled.
Bada bing, bada boom. 1.3K on all of the accounts. So making back some of that 3.2K I lost yesterday. Honestly, at this point, I might call it a day. And I would just like to dedicate that win to the absolute fucktards, Carlos and Nathan. So I would like to dedicate the $20,000 I just made, the $17,000 I just made. I'd like to dedicate that to Nathan and Carlos for not knowing what the fuck they're talking about. Folks, this isn't a game of prediction. It's a game of reaction. It's more so a game of risks management. This idea of saying it has to go up, it has to go down, it's retarded. This idea of trying to critique someone because they have a little loss or a little win, that doesn't mean you're good or bad. It's, did you take a good trade? Good trades can be losing. Bad trades can be winning. Making or losing money does not define a good trade. It does not define a bad trade. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but for those of you listening, I appreciate it. I think you're starting to get it, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring everyone on this journey with us. We're not. Some people are just not going to get it, and then you're going to have pussies like Meat Eater who are just saying, oh, you're smug. Dude, if you think I'm smug, go fuck off. There's other streams. You don't need to be in here. If I If you don't like it, if you don't like how I talk, if you don't like how I act, dude, I don't give a fuck. I honestly just don't fucking care. The stress levels of trading and the account levels that I trade, it's simply just not worth it. It's simply worth it. If I gave a fuck about you calling me smug, I'd get nowhere in life. I'd get absolutely nowhere in life. I am giving you guys perfect call outs of what's going on in the market. I'm giving you astonishingly accurate breakdowns of key levels and reversals and risk management and the call outs, to the point that literally I called out all of these trades before they happened. So had you faded it, which I actually would never suggest you do because I'd rather you understand my target. Even here, I said my next scale out target would be VWAP. What did we just hit? We just hit VWAP. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Would have worked. So when we're, as a production team, putting in all this effort for not even the show, but also like the breakdowns and more so the useful explanations where you guys can like maybe get on the pathway of like actual quality trading, when some dipshit pops off and is like, you're being smug, that's not nice, hold my hand, you hurt my feelings. I just don't care. I don't fucking care. Trading the market is a brutal place. So when we have people that have the psychological backbone of a fucking jellyfish, if I offend you, it's probably, I'm sorry I offended you. That wasn't necessarily my intent. But if I do offend you, probably also a good sign that you don't have the psychology makeup to survive as a trader, because trading is a brutal place. And if you have the psychological stature of like super fragile glass-like feelings, trading's simply not for you. I don't know what to tell you. Trading's not for you. Go buy a helmet and fucking live your life somewhere else. But trading, it's brutal. It's fucking brutal. And if you can't handle some dude on the internet who is right telling you you're wrong, it's just not a game for you. It's just not a fucking game for you. It's crazy how much you can make with a couple micros on a day like this. Yeah, that's why I was saying we need to scale down, because it's also crazy, even on good trades, how much you can lose. Bro, is J.K. Simmons from Whiplash? Is that the teacher who like beat the shit out of his students, basically? Nathan and Carlos get a free Discord? No, fuck them. They could pay for it. Happy to teach them. I'm happy to get them on the proper path, but we called this out, this sweep low. They've been dirty with this recently. These just traders. I don't know if it's hedge funds, high frequency traders, market makers. I don't know who it is, but 2 to 3 times a week, we are seeing sweep lows, as in it's just barely taking it out. They basically French kiss a key level on the sweep low, and then they rocket it. Because they're not intentionally doing that. People are playing to the downside. They lock in their profits. It completely changes the delta map, and then we just bounce off of that. So it's not intentional. It's the byproduct of they targeted a key level, i.e. this major gamma strike. They hit it, and then people made trades off of it. And then before you knew it, we skyrocket. We hit one level. We base off of that. That's where I took my trade around 11.18, and you ride it higher. And if you have more to scale out, guess what? Just target yesterday's low. If you have more after that, guess what? Just target the closing value from yesterday. You just play it from level to level to level. It's that easy. You don't know where it's going to stop. You don't know where it's going to turn. As soon as it goes a little bit in your favor, great, break even. After that, just take it slow and steady, and just understand the fact that as much as we are rocketing right now, we easily could have just had the exact opposite. We could have just completely plummeted the other way. And you just have to be better for both. No one can predict this. What you can do is say, that's a key level, I'll watch for the reaction. That's a key level, I'll watch for the reaction. That's fair. And right here, you're just playing the reactions at the key level. Guess what? We have another level up here at 6,640. Do you know what you want to do when you get there? You watch for the reaction. If it bases and continues, awesome. Play it up to 70, 72, something like that. If it breaks down, great. Play it down to 15, play it down to 6,600. Don't predict how the market will react. You react to the market's reaction. All right, that's pretty much what I have for you. I'm stoked. I made my money. I'm going to chill with these accounts. I'm going to trade other Apex evals. People are telling me that the website is back up. So Apex, take advantage of the deal. This is the best deal. That code Goonie, 80% off, $40 lifetime PA, dirt cheap to get in. This is the best deal I've seen them offer. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, to take advantage of the deal. And obviously, with movements and trends like this is a great day to pass the test. I wouldn't fiddly fuck around that much. I would on the evals if you're still working on your system, but if you already have a system that you're confident in, well, at that point, just get through the test quick, especially when it's cheap, and then move on, and then just start actually trading on a performance account. Seeing a nice bounce in Bitcoin, seeing a plummet in the VIX, seeing the Mag 7 really pick up since 1102. Seeing the SPY pick up ever since 10 and even more so at 11. 5 minute on ES is pushing green. 10 minute is battling now. 30 minute, 4 hours still red. NQ, 5 minute is pushing green. 10 minute is currently testing. 30 minute is red. 4 hour is red. So are we necessarily out of the woods? No, but this will be an interesting test to see if we can get above and hold above. And then obviously I'd be watching that intraday high. And I'm also watching to see how the VIX at one point gaps up. It's very green and then can plummet all day. I'm wondering if that's going to hang out here. Like where we, at one point in the day, this looked crazy green. And then by the end of the day, it looked horrible. I wonder if that's the direction we're about to go with the VIX expiration tomorrow. I mean, all these people who bought VIX calls, it's expiring on them, a lot of them tomorrow. 50% of the VIX gamma expires tomorrow. 50% of the VIX delta expires tomorrow. So the people who are long calls here, they're going to start to feel pressure and they have to make a decision by tomorrow morning. So all of a sudden, if they start selling those calls, this could plummet even more and really drop the vol. And then that could lead to, in the short term, a Vanna-esque rally. And if a lot of these VIX contracts get dumped, I mean, we could be talking easily return to 6680, 6,700 by the end of the day. Like we could very much be talking about battling it out in the transition zone by the end of today. So just be prepared for that. Be prepared for any scenario and just look to minimize your risk. That's really the name of the game. Folks, that's what I have for you. I'm going to go hang out in the Goonie Trading Discord. And other than that, I think that's it. We'll be posting an update video later on today. We'll be streaming twice tomorrow. We'll do a morning stream and an NVIDIA afternoon stream. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out the recent Apex video. Mr. Mod, if you could throw that in chat about how I finally got approved on Apex, what I did, how I did it. So feel free to check out that video. I think you will enjoy it. That's what I have for you. I'll catch you guys later on in the update video. Respect your risk, respect your leverage. Live to fight another day, and understand that no one can predict this shit. It's just a math game of risk to reward management. That's what I have for you guys. Peace.